want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right. So that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter-size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, dang, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally. Because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. Let me go ahead and try to get this right. Got a new little bit of look right now because we're going to do something a little bit different. I have some things and some changes that I'm making all across the board. Let me close this out. Got some changes that I'm going to be making. And while I'm making that adjustment, I'm trying some things out. So, I'm always experimenting and trying to see what's new, what's happening, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening, friends and family. How y'all feel? I see y'all in the building. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's happening, friends? I see the people out there walking to the NFL draft weekend whole situation. We're going to get into that in a minute. How do y'all feel? Is everything good? Is my mic right? Is everything looking halfway decent? What's going on, friends? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. This show is absolutely positively sponsored by Tiege Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. If you do not have your Tiege pack, make sure you get your Tiege pack. And ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't necessarily wait for the women to get it for you. Make sure you're taking care of business and make sure you get on top of that. Also, if you guys have not subscribed to the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Make sure you go ahead and get that popping because we are going to do Stock Club this weekend. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's rocking out. You said, do I like the Lions pick? I do like the Lions pick. What's going on? Y'all tell me how y'all feel. Give me one word that's inside of the chat of how y'all feel. Christopher Thomas says, feeling amazing, looking fly and fresh. Hi, says Sabrina. Focus said the wealth building journey. Energizing. Sounding great. Y'all paying attention to AD practicing agile. Shout out to my dog tech coach Ralph. Dynamic says big sucks. What up, true to myself? What up, K Cooper? Mike Jones in the building. All of my people. Tam, what up, Tam? What's going on, Chase Barnes? Bobby Sherry. Glow Hardy. King Bread says awesome. Prince Elian says stoic. Magnificent. Feeling great. Fantastic. Incredible, says Azriel. Most excellent. Groovy. Amazing. Aware. All of my people is in the building. What up? Blessed. Hungry. Zen. Awesome. Ecstatic. Like static. Satisfied. Thankful. Driven. Excited. Got a week off. They redoing the plant. Wink, wink. Says Brittany B. Fantastic. Moving. Need more caffeine. Remarkable. Relaxed and happy. Bag chasing. Like a big dog. Excellent. What up? What up? Says Rob Brown. Excellent. All right. Great. What up, Tom? Says KG609. Pretty. You are pretty, Tia Marie. At Malone. Chris Williams. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. What's going on, friends? You all right? Spaces? Anwar. Inspired. Rosita Attila. What's good, Anton? Salute to the bag chasers. Focus. Awesome. Blessed. Feeling thankful. Tranquil. Focused. So blessed. Focus. All right. I see y'all. Peaceful. Consistent. What up? What up? What up? All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get straight into the show because I might have a couple technical difficulties here and there, but we definitely going to make sure that we get it in, we get it popping, and we want to make sure that you guys are having all of the information and getting all of the insight so that you can make an informed decision because we don't fumble no bags on a Friday. So, again, we focus and we don't fumble any bags on a Friday. Shout out to everybody that tapped in with me yesterday on After Hours. We had a couple technical difficulties, but we making adjustments. We making adjustments. We running it up and we doing what we do. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to the bag chasers. Shout out to the Patreon members. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Also, shout out to Tiege Hanley, the sponsor of the show. We rock with Tiege Hanley, and we going to get it in. How about we go ahead and get started with quick hits? Y'all down with getting started with quick hits? All right, let's get started with quick hits, y'all. Let's get it popping. I'm testing some new stuff out, so y'all got to rock out with me. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to keep everything popping, and we don't want to separate it, but we want to just keep y'all informed on what's happening throughout the United States of America. I'm thinking that this is going to be a pretty positive show. All right, y'all ready to get it rocking? Let's get to it. So, first things first on Quick Hits, police are continuing to clash with demonstrators. I say protesters. I say paid spies. I say a lot of things. But police are continuing to clash with these people on campus. Check it out.
The temperature this morning on some college campuses reaching a boiling point. A growing number of protests forming over the ongoing war in the Middle East at campuses across the country, some leading to standoffs, including the University of Texas at Austin. Students and police clashing during protests Wednesday. More than 30 were taken into custody.
Did they say reparations? I'm sorry, you know, when I hear reparations, my ears perk up. Did I hear something like we all for reparations? Hold on, let me rewind this really quickly.
Last Wednesday, more than 30 were taken.
I don't know what they said. Sounded like reparations to me. You know, your mind started playing tricks on you. Let's continue.
Into custody. Protesters gathered outside the jail, with some faculty saying in a statement they would not work today. And overnight, police and protesters also clashing at the University of Southern California.
We're going to get into USC. We got a whole segment that's going to be dedicated to that.
Officers hit with objects arrested more than 90 people, though it's unclear how many were students. And back on the East Coast, a dramatic scene at Emerson College, where students are encamped on an alleyway in the middle of downtown Boston. Police and demonstrators facing off. The tensions rising nationwide as reports of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia have skyrocketed since last October, with the Anti-Defamation League and Center for American Islamic Relations each reporting record-high complaints. House Speaker Mike Johnson and other Republican lawmakers at Columbia University Wednesday, where they were shouted at by students. The lawmakers calling on school president Manoush Shafiq to resign over her handling of an encampment where police arrested dozens this week, in which some Jewish students say has become a point of intimidation.
The first responsibility of a university administrator is to keep their students safe.
Mr. Speaker, if you were the president of Columbia University today, what would you do about this tent encampment?
I would immediately bring order to the chaos. If necessary, I would call in the NYPD. I would ask the governor to send in the National Guard.
The Columbia Board of Trustees has expressed its support for President
I'm going to read Super Chat shortly, y'all.
Saying that she has struck that ever-important balance between freedom of speech and also ensuring the safety of Jewish students, making sure that they're not harassed and intimidated on campus. Hoda?
Steph, it seems like every day we're reporting on another campus where these protests are breaking out. So what happens next?
Well, they're here to stay, according to the students I've spoken with here at Columbia. And we were walking around that encampment yesterday, Hoda, and I was struck by how well organized they are. They have a lot of food coming in. They have good tents. The weather is not that bad. They say they are willing to stay here until their demands are met, even if it means weeks. And in just 3 weeks, this campus is going to have its graduation. And it takes place exactly where that tent encampment is set up right now, Hoda.
All right. Stephanie Gosk for us there.
So, like I was telling y'all in the very beginning when this first started popping off, two things before we get to the next story. The first thing is, I told you you had to squash this in the very beginning. The minute that you let it spiral out of control, it started getting more visibility, people start feeling empowered, and they start doing what they want to do, it's going to absolutely go all the way left. Next thing you know, you got people setting up tents, and they about to be canceling graduations. They already started canceling some. I'm going to do a whole individual segment with regard to that. That's number one. Number two, I told y'all that this was going to happen and that every 4 years, somehow, some way, we find a way to get distracted by protests and all of this stuff that's happening from the things that's actually meaningful. And it happened during election cycle, during election year. And this is not new. This is not new. I think that the majority of the people that's on these campuses are not students. I think a lot of them are paid. I think a lot of them are being sent there. And I can't prove it, but the fact of the matter is we see this happen on a regular basis, and then all of a sudden it start growing nationwide and campus-wide. Come on, man. I'm not going for that, bro. Anyways, moving on to the next story. So crime is getting worse in Houston. This was sent to me by y'all. Let me check this out.
Morning, neighbors living in Houston's 3rd Ward are sounding off about the growing crime in their area.
They say they have repeatedly asked for help over the years.
Hold on. Somebody said in the chat, they said, what's wrong with protests? Are you pro-Israel, Anton? Let me tell you, because these are not protests. When it goes from a peaceful protest to you breaking the rules, not having permits, throwing stuff and attacking the police, staying out longer than what the rules is calling for. When we get discourse so much to where it turns into chaos, that's not a peaceful protest. That's number one. Number two, I'm pro-America. I'm pro-America. The only time that I even believe remotely that we need to be meddling in other people's businesses or business is if it comes back to benefiting us some way, somehow. Now, I understand that we got to support our allies and all of this other type of stuff, but I'm pro-America. I don't know why y'all think that people supposed to care about what y'all got going on outside of the United States of America. Yes, the world is messed up. Yes, there's a lot of stuff going on, but let me help you to understand something. It's absolutely, we got to get our own house in order before we start meddling in other people's business. You got to get your own house in order before you get and start meddling in other people's business. I can't tell somebody else what to do when my own borders, my own inflation, my own situation is absolutely messed up. So don't sit here and try to talk to me talking about, Anton, are you pro this? Or are you? Listen, I'm pro Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I'm pro Bag Chasers. I'm pro Millionaire Morning Show. I'm pro Anton Daniels. I'm pro After Hours. I'm pro America. I'm pro Rita. I'm pro my church. I'm pro righteousness. I'm pro Jesus. So that's what I'm pro fattening my pockets and making sure that my people is taken care of in the middle of all of this chaos and this warring that's going on in order for us to make sure that we capitalize and we benefit from all of y'all nonsense. That's what I'm pro. You know what I'm saying? This is nonsense. Anton, are you pro-Israel? Man, get out of my face with that. Talking to me about what am I pro? I'm pro me and I'm pro my people. I'm pro Vanessa. I'm pro Chris James. I'm pro K Cooper. I'm pro Azriel. I'm pro Yakar. I'm pro Kojak. I'm pro Jeremy H. I don't care nothing about all of that stuff, bro. And when you start breaking the rules, I think that it's important for you to enforce it. That's when I'm pro Quentin. Care nothing about all of this other nonsense. I got my own people to worry about. Crime in Houston.
Years, but help never comes. Our Ugochi Loka joins us live right now. And Ugochi, what is Houston police? How are they responding to this?
Yeah, Kimberly and Seth, we know right now Chief Troy Fenner says he will dedicate more patrols to the 3rd Ward and says he will spend the overtime for officers assigned there. Now, this comes after a packed town hall meeting last night. Take a look. This is the video of residents there expressing their concerns. The residents of the 3rd Ward shared their frustration with Houston police about the lawlessness they claim has plagued their neighborhoods. KG11 has covered the many recent shootings that neighbors have been complaining about, some happening just in the past few weeks, including multiple homicides that neighbors believe have made their streets more unsafe than ever. The open drug use, they say, has been more frequent now, too, and neighbors think having more police around could help.
We want to see police officers sitting there, and we know there are things going on, but we need to see you sitting there.
When the nightclubs get out, that's when they just go buck wild.
Yeah, I can see why they are so upset. We know that neighbors also expressed concerns about repeat offenders as well as short-term rental issues. We'll have more on that coming up in the next hour.
Y'all know Houston ain't nothing but Atlanta, right? Houston is Atlanta light. They almost just as much Atlanta as Atlanta is, because most of the people that's in Atlanta ain't even from Atlanta. All Houston is Atlanta light. That's it. So Houston is having a crime problem. Now the neighbors is complaining about it, and they don't want to tell on Pookie and Ray Ray and tell who it is that got the guns and all of the crime, and they expect the police to just sit there. Nope. Help yourself. We told y'all what was happening. You know what's so funny? And this actually feeds into the next quick hits, is I rode my bike here today from my place, because here in downtown right now, with all of these 500,000 people that then came into the city and stuff like that, it's much easier for me to be able to get around on my bike than it is for me to drive a car. And so, you know, my office is right up the street. It take me less than 5 minutes to get here on my bike. And I decided to take a little bit of a detour. And so I'm riding around and I'm looking and I'm seeing, and boy, I'm going to tell you, there are 4 police officers on every 4 to 6 police officers on every single corner in the city. If you look outside of my window when I jump into my apartment over there and you look down, they all in the water. You can see snipers on the roof. They not messing around, boy. And then somebody was telling me that as you walking around, it's just random people that's walking through the crowd that can actually see through, and I guess they doing body scans to make sure that there ain't nobody got nothing on it. Man, you can't go nowhere on no negative time over here. They not messing around. Come over here and try that nonsense if you want to. And I heard that it was a record-breaking attendance for the NFL draft here in Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Let's get it popping.
There are so many people here in the city. The one thing I've kept hearing today on day one of the draft is people have never seen so many folks in the city of Detroit at one time. Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people in attendance on night one right here. They said that beats the 2018 record back in when it was in, I want to say, Nashville back then. It's huge. People are fired up.
Like pilgrims on a spiritual journey, legions of pro football fans descend upon their sacred city for the coveted ceremony of selection, an NFL draft where their next gridiron god shall ascend to their rightful place amongst the legends of old. And they've even come from overseas. Lauren and Daniel are cheeseheads from Manchester.
Long flight, but we love coming to the States. We managed to get to the Super Bowl in February as well, so we went to Vegas, now Detroit. So
first time in Detroit. This Dallas fan came in all decked out.
It's a little bit cowboy, it's a little bit wrestling, luchador wrestling, and a little bit of the culture, Mexican culture.
The NFL experience has it all, from gigantic helmets repping each franchise to a tent where you can check out some of those iconic Super Bowl rings from over the years.
We just got here a little while ago. We've been walking around. It's been a lot of fun. It's packed, which is awesome. So we're hoping to enjoy the 3 days.
And we found what Lions fans, all of us, have been looking for all these years. Right there, the Vince Lombardi Trophy in all its glory. Oh yeah.
So this is a dream come true for us. Love it.
But some fans only have their dreams to live the NFL experience through.
So, anyways, long story short, yeah, it's booming. I haven't seen it this busy. It's pretty busy on a regular basis, but I haven't seen it this busy since we hosted the Super Bowl here. I haven't seen it this busy since we hosted the Super Bowl. So it is fun. I'm going to be out in the streets today. I don't think that I'm a live stream on After Hours, but you never know. Turn on your notifications. Make sure you subscribe. I am going to be out in the streets and seeing what's happening, especially since I live right there in the middle of everything. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. And we're just going to continue to have fun. Shout out to the city for continuing to have and put out good energy while all the rest of these cities is going broke and stuff. But we're going to get there shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick hits. All right, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get it started with the show. Pat Gigatainment is in the building, says, good morning. I recently got a request from a few people from my channel asking for personal consulting. This is my first time, and I don't know how to get started or price myself. Any tips for a bag chaser? You know you're going to have to send an email for that. We're not giving out that type of information. Make sure you email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get you popping, big dog. Email me. And I'm going to answer that. I'll personally answer that for you. Shout out to you for continuing to run it up and being successful. All of my bag chasers is in the building. Christopher Williams is up here. Chris says, hey, Anton, I'm a tanker truck driver and also a bag chaser. Man, let me give another round of applause for the bag chaser. Tanker truck driver and a bag chaser. And he says, since February, not going to lie, I have some homework to do. On my stock club, though, I am in Wyandotte, taking 34 restart, and I will use that time to run it up. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you for coming through. Thank you, Christopher Williams, and get to that bag and gird up, big dog. Key Almighty says, 24-year-old single, full-time single father to my autistic son in South Jersey. Shout out to the great fathers in the building. Receiving my bachelor's in accounting. Good job. Tech-wise in New Jersey, should I go bachelor's in cybersecurity or software engineering? Me personally, today in 2024, I personally would go into cybersecurity. I would go into cybersecurity. So phenomenal dude. Congratulations. Keep running it up, being a great father. I would pick cybersecurity. Ban Flacco says law enforcement in all big cities are being held back from doing their jobs due to never-ending lawsuits. Crime is at an all-time high. Not here. I was seeing some people getting arrested on my way in. They do not play. It was somebody that was trying to hold up the tram, the queue line that was going up and down. That was towing trucks, arresting. Come over here if you want to. Try that if you want to. Maybe that's across the board, but not here in our city. Bitcoin Brown in the building says, watching the draft live looks super dope, boss. Your people said they mad they didn't pour all of the monies and attention into the D before this, though. That's their fault. I've been telling people for a long time that it's going to be ran up over here. It's crazy. Nielsen Digital says, all these draft people just wasting their time. People are having a good time. Y'all don't want to have good times? I love having a good time and with good energy. Jewel Alchemy Soap LLC says, happy Friday, Anton and Ms. Rita. Shout out to you and the Chasers. The monologues this week have been fire. You can't be a king and do peasant-ish is a bar. Shout out to the people. I've been dropping them clips for y'all too. My dog Ash. Shout out to Ash. Ash says, thank you, AD. I am only pro-America. All other countries, I wish you wellness and happiness. Anything else is negotiable. Hashtag MAGA. Shout out to my dog. I appreciate you, big dog. Mr. Lot in the building. Shout out to Mr. Lot. Says the meter maids are hot too. I've seen 5 toes this morning alone. Mr. Lot is in the building. I appreciate you. Jamal Fowler also says, peace, Anton. Here is my last for the collection plate. I'm out. Hold on, Jamal. Don't give me your last. Don't give me your last. Jamal. Hit me up on Cash App. Hit that request. Let me send that back to you. I don't want you to give me your last. Shout out to Jamal Fowler. I love you, though, bro. It's the thought that counts. Hit me up, email me, and I'll send that back to you, bro. Matter of fact, I'll send you double. Whatever you sent me, I'll send you double. Shout out to my dog, Jamal. I appreciate y'all. I also want to give a round of applause for my guys on Cash App. First, Michael and Mike that dude. Shout out to my people on Cash App. I appreciate y'all. I rock with y'all. Y'all always hold me down. And y'all making sure that y'all taking care of your boy. It does not go unnoticed. All right. In addition to that, y'all ready to get into the show? The main part of the show? So I'm going to move some stuff around. Let me see what I can do. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I wonder if that's going to work. All right. We're going to figure it out. So, let's do this. TikTok CEO, we all know that Biden and all of our legislators decided that they wanted to sign as a part of the foreign aid bill. They added in there that they wanted to ban TikTok if it is not sold within the United States. If it's not sold within the United States, 9 months from now is when they want to ban TikTok. Now, the CEO released his own message, and he said, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it at all. And as a matter of fact, we're going to fight it. Let me bring y'all up to speed on what's happening out here on TikTok. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to it.
It's going to make America safer.
This morning, the clock now ticking for TikTok to find a buyer or be banned in the U.S. after President Biden signed into law a foreign aid package that includes a provision forcing the sale of the Chinese-owned company in the next 9 months.
What up, DJ Ace? I'm going to read that shortly.
To fight back.
Make no mistake, this is a ban on TikTok and a ban on you and your voice. Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are confident and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts.
And urging users to rally in support of TikTok.
I'm going to be really upset. Like, everyone is on here.
Any potential ban is likely years away as legal challenges play out. But even if a ban does go through, TikTok wouldn't suddenly disappear from phones. Instead, no new downloads or updates would be possible. Lawmakers who pushed for the bill to pass say the app must be sold from its Chinese parent company ByteDance to protect American users' data.
Through this process, have you learned anything about Americans' data on TikTok that does really concern you? Anything concrete?
Yes. Rivers of data are being collected and shared in ways that are not well aligned with American security interests.
FBI Director Christopher Wray telling Lester Holt that TikTok's parent company is beholden to the Chinese government.
we're talking about the ability to control or collect data on millions and millions of users and to use it for all sorts of influence operations like driving their AI efforts.
I flew all night.
So you came on a red eye.
Yes.
Other TikTok creators traveling
Jesus
to
Christ.
the Capitol from far and wide to demonstrate against the ban.
TikTok has given me every bit of voice that I have.
So as I mentioned, TikTok vows that they are taking this to court. They will argue this impedes users' free speech. Now, whichever side were to lose that battle would likely appeal to the Supreme Court, potentially setting up a years-long showdown.
Hey, so let me ask y'all a question before we deep dive into this. How much are you willing to sacrifice as far as your national security in order to make sure that you can still have your voice and say and do whatever it is that you want to do? Just curious. How much, and I don't really know where you stand or where to stand on this particular issue, and it's because I am a content creator. And I also understand that, well, let's put it all in perspective. First and foremost, most of these people that are complaining about TikTok going away, they're not making no money from it. They just want to continue to throw out all of their business and then have a bunch of people like them and follow them and hit the like button and all of that stuff, right? So less than 1%, less than 2% of content creators on all social media platforms are actually generating a significant amount of revenue to where they can quit their job or they can continue to move forward and being successful. That's just the facts. I know that it's the same as when people and all of these gamers was coming up and people were saying, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And people was trying to justify to me the fact that they was 40 years old and still spending 9 hours a day playing video games while missing work. Now, there's nothing wrong with playing the video games, but when you start missing work, that's an issue. And people were trying to justify, man, there's people that make money on here that play video games, but you not. And you probably not ever going to do it. And that don't have nothing to do with whether or not you were supposed to be at work this morning. And so most of the people that are on these applications that are addicted to it are addicted to it, not necessarily because they're making money from it, but because they just like that particular application. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I do understand it from a content creator's perspective, right? I do. Shawnee says it's not about national security. Then what is it about? Because one of the reasons why they're forcing them to sell within 9 months, or the reason at least that they're giving us, and you tell me, am I off? Is it something else that I'm not familiar with? One of the reasons that they're telling us that they want to sell it is because they're saying, well, it is a national security issue, especially with regard to AI and them being able to train a lot of the ways in which they do things based off of the information and the data that they're able to source from ByteDance, with it being a Chinese company. How can you say that it's not, and what will be the incentive for them to ban it? That's my question. Because this got bipartisan support. This got bipartisan support. I would have you to know that if you go over there, if you go over to China, I don't know if you guys ever studied it. I have never been to China in particular. I was looking to go to China for a particular amount of time. I decided to change that once my sentiment towards that country soured. I don't know if you've ever actually studied China and how they go about censorship, but it is very much not a pro-American country at all. Manufacturers and American companies that choose to do business over in China, most times, especially automakers, have to partner with a Chinese company 50-50, and then they're saying that they probably steal a lot of their proprietary technology before they start to launch their own products and eventually push that American company out. That is something that has been complained about and stressed about for a long time, that the American companies that partner with Chinese companies often at time source their information, knowledge, and resources from American companies that are forced to partner with a Chinese company in order to even do business over there. And then eventually you get a BYD. BYD was not their own company. BYD rose from the ashes based off of technology and information that was given to them based off of the businesses that they had to partner with in order to even be able to exist over there in China. And so when you start to go into the politics and the policies, which is one of the reasons why Trump launched the trade war against China in the first place, because they felt like it was an imbalance between how Chinese companies benefited and how China benefited and how the United States of American companies benefited, it was too swayed on the other side. Now, what people don't know is that Biden actually supported the tariffs because he kept those tariffs in place once Trump left office. So the very thing that he advocated against and he championed in and he jumped on all of these platforms and he was telling y'all how he was going to change things is the very thing that he still supported once he got into office. How do you know, especially considering that the United States of America is in a chip war with China and a currency war with China and proxy wars with China, especially with regard to what's going on over in Taiwan? How do you know that they're not leveraging and using your information because it is a Chinese-owned company that's able to source your data to do whatever it is that they want to do with it? How do we know? How do we know? Now, I'm not telling you that you should or you shouldn't. I'm not saying that I'm for or against. I'm sympathetic to content creators and people that love TikTok, even though it may not be a platform for me. But what I try to do is I try to put myself in the shoes of these people. And what I would advise you guys is that I would advise you guys to go about making sure that you're platform agnostic, meaning that you're not interdependent on one platform in order for you to continue to be successful as a content creator. Check it out. Let's continue to deep dive into this.
Another big story tonight. What next for TikTok? Is it really going to be banned here in the United States?
Our business and tech reporter Scott Budman is here with the very latest. Scott.
Well, Audrey and Raj, the House, the Senate, now the president have all signed off on TikTok either being sold by its Chinese owner ByteDance or being banned here. Many users tell us they understand the concerns people have about the platform, but say losing it would hurt their business.
So people don't really care. Let me tell you something about people. Nobody cares until it affects them. That's a fact. And I don't blame them. Nobody cares about your business or what's going on with your business until it affects them. Nobody cares. Man, they'll sell your security. They'll throw your stuff over the ground. They'll sell everything that they'll sell their left nut over to China in order to continue to maintain what they got going on over there.
Y'all, these food prices?
Denaja Reese is a TikTok content creator. She says if the platform goes away, it will likely affect her bottom line.
Is there money on the line here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's money on the line in numerous ways.
We don't walk away from our allies.
But President Biden signing a bill forcing TikTok's Chinese owner to sell or face a U.S. ban starts the clock ticking towards the end of what Denaja calls a boost to her career as a marketing professional.
And what's great about TikTok is that you can put out your expertise and experience in a way that just kind of goes straight to consumer and whoever your target audience is.
170 million Americans use TikTok, but the app is owned by a Chinese company, and that has U.S. politicians nervous about the data it collects, who that data goes to, and the messages it sends out.
Everyone seems to think in Congress that that this poses a threat to our national security.
Enough of a threat, even some TikTok users are concerned.
When I talk to some of my students, they actually share some of these same concerns that their peers are starting to believe conspiracy theories and information that is clearly false.
For its part, TikTok is not going away without a fight. The company's CEO spoke today on the platform.
Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are confident and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts.
Okay, Scott, so TikTok CEO sounds pretty confident that the app will be sticking around. But how likely is it that it's actually going to survive this legislation?
It's interesting because the legislation comes down pretty hard, Audrey, but they do have 9 months to try to come up with a deal, either to fight this in court and say, hey, it violates our First Amendment rights, or to try to come up with some sort of a money-changing hands kind of deal where ByteDance somehow spins off TikTok to an American owner, keeps perhaps enough shares so that it can get enriched if there is some sort of an IPO. There's a lot of money to be had in TikTok. It's been very successful. The Chinese government, how much of a role do they play? We don't know. But ByteDance does not want to give this up. America does not want people to stay and give their data to a Chinese company. So they're really at loggerheads, but there is at least 9 months to try to come up with some sort of a
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. I think that over a period of time, this is probably going to be one of the more entertaining court battles and fights that we see happening. When you have bipartisan support and agreement across GOP and Democrats, then you can pretty much kiss it goodbye unless you have some kind of compromise. And as he said, it all comes back down to the money because they haven't even IPO'd. And IPOing is where the real money is. Forget the advertising money. Going public and getting that big payday, that's where all of the money is. So I will definitely stay informed and keep you guys up to date on what's happening out here in these streets, man, because I want you guys to get to the money, and I do not want you fumbling the bag or thinking that the bag is not going to be yours because of what's happening over here with your legislators, all right? So more importantly, I got to make sure that I read some of the super chats because I got to acknowledge the people that support the platform. You know what I'm saying? DJ Ace Productions is in the building, says, what up, though? Shout out to my Detroit brethren. DJ Ace, I appreciate you, big dog. Chris Mayberry says, did you hear about Ryan Watson from Oklahoma who had 4 bullets found in his luggage in Turks and Caicos and they trying to give him 12 years? Yeah, I heard about that. I have to address that. I don't know if I should address that in this show. If we got enough time, I'll address it in this show. What's his name? Ryan Watson? Yeah, I'm going to address that. If I might be able to address it in this show, so we'll see what happens. Shout out to Chris Mayberry. I appreciate you, big dog. Vanessa, shout out to Vanessa, says, I went to China in 2018 and could not use Google. Yes, they have some huge censorship. Listen, I know people that studied abroad and they went over to China and they spent an extended amount of time over there. And they said when they would send an email, it would be such a delayed response or a delay in being able to send it because they had to make sure that it went through all of the protocols and checks before it went out into the internet. And so their censorship is huge over there. They do not play games as far as what comes in and what goes out, and censorship of, you know, Americans, American companies, and even their own citizens. So they don't play no games over there. We're very blessed. We're very, very blessed in that we take a lot of the freedoms that we have for granted and we don't use them to our benefit or we don't use them for the greater good, but we are incredibly, incredibly blessed. So be very, very thankful. Shout out to my girl, Vanessa. I appreciate you, Vanessa. Salty Apostle says, the establishment can't control the anti-Israel narrative on TikTok. That's the only reason the leaders in DC suddenly care about it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Absolutely not. I don't think that they're all of a sudden. They've been talking about this for a long time. Jones FX 426 says Cambridge Analytica paid a Facebook app developer to gain access to 87 million Facebook users' personal data, $725 million settlement suit pending. Shout out to Jones FX. I appreciate you. eRaw25 says give TikTok the axe. If your content brings real value, there should be no issue switching to another social media outlet. As one perspective. Bitcoin Brown says, if TikTok did an IPO, would you consider buying? No. I wouldn't personally buy it, no. Absolutely not. Organized Truth is in the building, says, I'm all for banning TikTok when it comes to national security, but can we close the borders as well for national security? Facts. Facts. I also want to give a shout out to my dog, Brian Hunter, on Cash App. Shout out to my dog, Brian. I appreciate you, big dog. You are absolutely positively one of the real ones. All right, so what do we have next coming up on the Millionaire Morning Show? I'm still getting used to everything that I got going on over here. Oh, okay. I know what we want to address. So how about we tackle USC? USC, y'all. I'm hearing that it's a lot of colleges that is about to follow USC's suit. They're about to follow USC and basically removing graduation from the table because all of these protests, you know, we had enough of this cancellation. I was talking to somebody on the coaching call and they said, yeah, man, actually it wasn't a coaching call. It was on the flight back home. And I was talking to somebody on the way back home from Biloxi. And a lady, you know, she stayed close to me and she said, yeah, we couldn't really do graduation for our daughter and all of that because their daughter is older than ours. She said, I couldn't really do graduation for our daughter because it was during the pandemic and she graduated in 2020, so we had to make some adjustments. Well, looks like y'all gonna probably doing something similar with a lot of these college campuses that's basically looking to do graduation because all of these protests are broken out. Look, whenever y'all go out or whenever y'all have y'all children, make sure y'all have them in the opposite year from election years because your children are going to suffer from all of the visibility going to other things that's not best for them. But anyways, let's go over here to USC. Let's talk about all of these protests and the fact that now these campuses are looking to ban graduation because they can't keep the people safe. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Shout out to Jay Johnson. Shout out to the people that support the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm going to read those super chats shortly.
Now in one breaking news, after a day of violent anti-war protests, USC officials have just announced that it is canceling its main stage commencement ceremony in May. Good afternoon. This is the KTLA 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. That decision comes after a series of events, including backlash following the cancellation of the class of 2024 valedictorian speech over safety concerns.
We have team coverage of the pro-Palestinian demonstrations on university campuses across the region. We're going to start with KTLA 5's Kareen Winter with the breaking developments from USC. Kareen?
Breaking developments indeed, Glenn. We've been out here all morning long talking about the day so far following yesterday's heated protests here on the USC campus and how things have been calm. We've been getting reaction from students. While this blockbuster news has rattled so many of those here on campus, the fact that USC announced today that it's canceling its main May commencement ceremony. This follows a series of developments that you mentioned that began after the university confirmed that its valedictorian, Asta Tabassum, who voiced opposition, by the way, to pro-Israel groups, would not be giving the traditional speech during graduation. Now, this is especially hard for those graduating. They were the COVID class impacted by the pandemic, and now they're not getting a regular commencement. Absolutely huge. We'll be getting more reaction from them throughout the day. This is really, really stunning, especially, again, for those who've worked so hard. Another blow to the university. And it's been quite a week following yesterday's tension-filled protests here on campus. The LAPD had to arrest over 90 people yesterday for trespassing. There were clashes with campus security. It was really a chaotic scene here on the campus of USC after pro-Palestinian demonstrators challenged police in riot gear during Wednesday's rally. The crowd was absolutely large. There were students, there were also non-students, and they were here demanding an end to the war in Gaza and that USC sever ties with companies that conduct business with the Israeli government. Now, those demonstrators, they descended on Alumni Park on Wednesday. They set up.
Is it me or do all of these people look like hippies?
Those demonstrators,
Why do everybody look like hippies? Why has everybody got a mask on? I want to know who my op is. Every single person look like hippies and every other person got a mask on. I want to know who the op is. I don't want no hidden agendas, no nothing happening behind the scenes. I want to know what's going on.
Descended on Alumni Park on Wednesday. They set up tents, which are prohibited on this campus. Public safety officers had to move in. They tried to remove those tents. They tried to disperse the crowds, and that's when things got out of hand. More tensions later in the day when campus police tried dispersing the crowd, even calling on the LAPD to help them. Despite the altercations, officials say this protest was largely peaceful. But again, this has drawn so much reaction from a lot of groups who've been here saying that, they're not in support of the USC officials. They say censoring that speaker. In fact, the Advisory Committee on Muslim Life at USC, they held a news conference this hour to discuss the resignation.
Hello. Okay.
resignation of several of their members following USC's decision not to allow its pro-Palestinian valedictorian to speak at this year's commencement. Listen to what they had to say.
Across this university, being motivated by nothing more than a basic sense of fairness and decency, hundreds have raised their voices, students and faculty, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, and atheist, in opposition to the university's decision to bar Ms. Tabassum from speaking.
And we have a team in place there. My colleague Chris Wolf attended that news conference. It's unclear if this group was aware at the time that USC had in fact made the move to cancel this year's ceremony. So we're trying to work that out. In any event, I want to read to you the statement that USC released regarding their decision, saying we understand that this is disappointing. However, we're adding many new activities and also celebrations to make this commencement academically meaningful, memorable, and uniquely USC, including places to gather with family, friends, faculty, and staff. Again, just a portion of what they had to say regarding this. A lot of students upset by this, and this, some would say, really doesn't come as a surprise. The disturbances this week, the mass protests, and all the issues that USC has had to deal with since their decision to change the valedictorian speaker or to remove that person from that role. So it's prompted a lot of reaction here. So much more coming up on later editions of KTLA 5 News. We'll have that for you in the next hour.
Just 24 hours after protests, clashes, and arrests on the campus of USC, the university is now canceling its main stage commencement ceremony.
A live look from the campus of UCLA, where demonstrators are camping out right now.
Good evening. Welcome to Fox 11 News at 5, simulcast on Fox 11 Plus and the Fox local app. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Christine Devine. We have team coverage. Matthew Cedorf at UCLA. We begin, though, with Christy Fajardo at USC.
Somebody said, who gives a F about graduations? The people that probably spent over $100,000 in order to get there and actually worked and grinded to get there. I mean, the people that work hard and want to get everything that they thought that they were supposed to get, that came along with whatever the process was in order for them to complete their degrees and stuff like that. You don't think that they deserve to be able to have a graduation? You think that it's more important for other people to be able to hijack their agenda over what you actually spending your money on? Why do we always look at the person that's doing it the right way and we say, who cares about what you got going on? And we always supporting the people that's doing it the wrong way. I don't understand the logic behind how y'all think sometimes. And of course it could be me. Of course I could be absolutely wrong. But what about the people that actually paid their money, sacrificed, went to school, got good grades, did what they were supposed to do on expensive USC? Because USC is not hard, it's not an easy place to be in. It takes a lot in order to even be you know what I'm saying, to get into that college and all of this stuff. Why do we sit there and say crazy stuff like that? And look, of course you are. Of course you are. And yes, I'm a dropout. I don't think a majority of idiots should cancel graduation, though. I don't think a minority of idiots should cancel graduation, though. But I mean, why don't we hold the people that's actually doing the wrong thing accountable instead of having a conversation about why they should even care about their graduation? It should be their option to go whether they want to or not, because they paid for it, and that's a part of the experience.
There is more fallout from all of this. USC now announcing that it is canceling the main ceremony for commencement. It says simply doesn't have enough time to process all the guests with the new security measures. And as you can imagine, many seniors that we spoke with are disappointed. Other students, though, accuse the administration of bungling all of this and say this is just one more example of that.
The next gate over, and right behind this building.
Tightened security and a closed campus. Just some of the fallout from USC's decision to cancel a pro-Palestinian valedictorian speech at graduation.
We will not stop. We will not rest.
One day after protests and arrests, the university is now also canceling the main commencement ceremony, which draws 65,000 people.
I think it's awful. I think it's not fair. I don't think it's right.
Hold on, sir. Sir. Y'all couldn't find nobody else to interview. Y'all had to get a zesty black man up there who did not brush his hair when he got up this morning, probably didn't brush his teeth, got a nose ring, blonde hair, and a tie-dye shirt on. Remember back in the day when we always used to say, man, how come they always got to get the crackhead from the hood in order to do an interview whenever it's something that's happening on national TV? They always get the worst person. Now, the new worst person that they get is some liberal dude with a nose ring and blonde hair and a tie-dye shirt to speak on the behalf of what's going on at the university. USC, this is a bad look. Don't do that.
To cancel commencement because we can't handle civil discourse on our college campus.
This was the scene on Wednesday. Students and other protesters occupying a portion of campus, calling on the university to divest from Israel over the tens of thousands of Palestinian deaths in Gaza. At a news conference, student organizers accused the university and the LAPD of using force to silence their voices and rejected accusations of anti-Semitism.
As a Jewish student myself, we firmly denounce and condemn any claims that our movement and our occupation is anti-Semitic. Judaism is not and has never been synonymous with Zionism.
The university has cited safety as a reason for canceling both the valedictorian speech and now the ceremony. 11 members of the advisory committee on Muslim life on campus have resigned in protest and believe the university's decision was motivated by politics, not security.
And did not provide any additional details regarding who, what, or how the university was being.
How did he do his beard like that? His beard is like this. It's like it goes up like this and it goes into this part. This part is shaved and then it goes back around like this. So it's like it's reverse. It's like a reverse cowgirl. He got all of this. It grows up here and then it's shaved back here. And all of this is cut off right here. Hold on, let me see how he did that. Give me a second. See it? Dog, that's a new thing. I've never seen a reverse cowgirl beard. That is absolutely a new thing. Shout out to the new beards.
Details regarding who, what, or how the university was being threatened, or where precisely these threats were coming from.
It's like it connects to his eyebrows almost. You know how you got to go, and he ain't got no mustache. Oh, no. Come on, big dog. He ain't got no mustache. So you just did everything backwards. You cut your stash off and you cut your sideburns off. He ain't got no stash, man. Cut this off. Cut this off. And he let it grow into his eyes. And it's like a goatee up to his up to his eyebrows. And then he got weirdo glasses on. Man, these ain't nothing but indoctrination camps. These ain't nothing but indoctrination. Yo, how do you wake up one day and say, man, I'm about to cut my mustache and my sideburns off, and then I'm going to let my beard grow up to my eyebrows? What is going on in this world?
Though we explicitly and repeatedly asked for this information.
On campus, Jewish student groups set up a seder for the more than 100 hostages believed to still be held by Hamas in Gaza and called for their release, but also blamed the university for creating tensions, saying they should have vetted the valedictorian, who they accuse of promoting anti-Semitism.
They should have at least admitted that they messed up and taken that responsibility instead of deflecting it and citing security concerns, which ultimately put the Jewish community at a greater risk and the Muslim community as well.
The university says they will still be holding dozens of other commencement events, but there will be additional security. Guests will need tickets. They will also be screened. Think like music venue. They also say they will have a clear bag policy as well as other measures. Live at USC, I'm Christy Fajardo. Listen.
shipping in the morning. And here we are live right now at UCLA. Fox 11's Matthew
Look at this
Seedorf
nonsense.
is there on the ground. Matthew.
Christine, Alex, a very different situation than what we were seeing at USC just yesterday. Hundreds of protesters here, and it's very organized. I'll step out of the way, and we're actually right now seeing some counter-protesters. You might be able to see the police, campus police here as well, in between the counter-protesters and the demonstrators. This, as the campaign really might be just beginning. A fortified wooden wall surrounds dozens of tents in the center of UCLA's.
You don't think we can get over them wooden walls? Hold on, man. Come on, man. Seriously? We got some cupcake people in this country.
A fortified wooden wall surrounds dozens of tents in the center of UCLA's campus. Hundreds of pro-Palestinian students and demonstrators protesting the Israel-Hamas war.
We are here because we have a set of demands, including divestment with our university in UCLA.
Organizers hear from Students for Justice in Palestine and the UC Divest Coalition at UCLA.
It's all about kind of commitment to solidarity. It's all about learning about what's happening in Palestine. It's about providing a safe environment for people who are choosing to be here in community with us.
The group's encampment, set up early Thursday morning, includes a medical tent, library, and media check-in.
Here's why I'm asking.
Outside the walls, occasional heated discussions.
Still get the class just fine. You know, I think even if it did disrupt some people, that might be kind of the point. So if you feel disrupted, maybe it allows you to think a little bit more about what's happening.
I think this is a shame. Shame that UCLA administration is allowing this to happen.
Eli Civis, a Jewish freshman at UCLA, finds the demonstration offensive.
The best example is my friends. They don't feel comfortable to walk around school with their necklaces. They take their kippahs off. They try to look as less visibly Jewish as they can because they're worried that one day something bad will happen to them.
This is so weak. I have not seen more cupcakes before in my entire life.
Late Thursday afternoon, the group decided to expand across the quad, pulling material from a nearby construction bin.
Just for like student solidarity.
It's crazy, bro.
In other nations and stuff like that.
Media liaison?
No, I'm not.
We're trying not to have anyone interviewed unless they're with the media.
That's perfect.
We were with other media trying to speak with supporters as the new walls and shields closed in around us.
It's a public space, which is the reason that you guys are here too.
We were told we could no.
I might have to go ahead and take a flight to USC. We got something happening next weekend? Oh, shoot, I got Mika coming in. We got something happening next week? All right, let's go what we got going on.
More than 90 pro-Palestinian protesters arrested Wednesday on the private campus at nearby rival USC. A spokesperson from UCLA says our top priority is always the safety and well-being of our entire Bruin community. We're actively monitoring the situation to support a peaceful campus environment that respects our community's right to free expression while minimizing disruption to our teaching and learning mission.
We go to school to make changes. We go to school and study all these case studies, but if we can't come out of our classrooms and really make a change and really stand in action, then there's no point of being in class.
We can hear people with different opinions kind of clashing behind us, but I gotta show you this. So there's room to expand. They've already expanded once in this quad, but it could go even further, and it's already kind of cornered off by campus police. You can't really walk through here to come in. You have to walk around in order to get in. So this could be going for some time. It doesn't appear to be ending anytime soon. Reporting live, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, why do so many of the demonstrators who are there to share their perspective cover their faces?
That's a great question. It seems like they're not necessarily wanting to be on camera. We have a demonstrator trying to speak with us right now, but they're trying to hide their identity for whatever reason that may be. And yeah, they don't want to speak and they don't want to show their face on camera.
And do you get a sense of how many of them are actually students or maybe demonstrators that have been doing demonstrations like this for a long time in the streets of Los Angeles?
I think there's a mix. I mean, I think today there's probably more students here than yesterday at USC. That one felt like 50-50. If I had to guess, I'd say this one's about 75% students, at least in the actual encampment itself. Outside that, there's some onlookers and stuff that, you know, I've been seeing this on the news and wanted to come be a part of it. But generally speaking, I would say mostly inside this camp, we're seeing students. You can see they've got security, their own security, and someone looks like inside inside there right now that they don't want to have in there. They're chasing around.
Well, at this hour, shortly after 5 o'clock, a much different picture at UCLA compared to yesterday's USC, where police were moving in. LAPD was forming up at about this time. So we'll keep a watch on this situation.
Yeah, let's see what's happening here. So our photographer, Sam Dubin, is moving in. Clearly, there's something happening.
Yeah, it looks like, so the people in the yellow and orange vest are kind of the organizers, and someone is being taken away right now. Looks like they're filming them as well.
Taken away by who?
This is kind of what was... These are the organizers in the bright yellow highlighter shirts.
Are they're performing like a citizen's arrest? This is a...
Well, basically, you're not allowed in there unless you go through their own security department. And this is what happened to us when they expanded. They expanded kind of where media was standing, and we were told we had to leave. And that's when you heard me saying, you know, this is public for us just like it is for you.
So I'm wondering, with all the tests...
Why people acting like, oh, I don't have no crazy search history? Somebody said, show your search history. Oh, I don't have no problem with that. Give me a second. Where I see that at? Somebody said, I thought I seen somebody say, show your search history or something like that. Hold on. Yeah, Troll Breezy. Oh, I don't have no problem with that. I can show my search history all day long. Hold on. I don't have nothing going on. I have no problem showing my search history. You can see my search history all the way back to whatever. YouTube, Tesla layoffs, YouTube, Chicago, DC shooting, Amanda Seals, YouTube, Gilbert Arenas, background stuff, YouTube, username, password stuff, Zoom, Harvey Weinstein, Elgato, downloads, Adobe. I don't do nothing. We can look at my search history every single day. I don't have nothing on there. Brandon Johnson, Chase Bank, Jamie Dimon, who was the CEO, president of Walmart, teacher crying, MacBook Pro. I bought some new laptop and stuff, all of that stuff. Instagram downloader, Black woman curse, Tim Cook, Apple, Volkswagen, buying a 16-inch MacBook Pro, Miami hood. Like, my search history is G. I don't have the same problems as y'all. I don't have problems like y'all have problems, bro. So my search history is certified, big dog.
Whoa, it looks like a little bit of a scuffle there behind that tent.
Yeah, it looks like there is. We're going to run over this direction and just see kind of what's going on. It does look like there's a little bit of possible fighting going on here.
Wow.
Well, yesterday at USC, they tried to set up the tents in the morning. They went in at 4:30 in the morning. By 5 o'clock at night, those tents were gone, but they had the people chaining themselves arm in arm who were defiant and ready to be arrested. Here you have a lot of tents completely set up as if they're going to be there all night.
Well, and there's a big difference. Go ahead.
It looks like a counter protester got inside, and they're making him leave. You can see all the people around him kind of making him leave, but he's trying to stay in.
Well, you know, it is interesting, the difference between UCLA, which is...
What is wrong with these people? Are they seriously following this dude around that's trying to get out? Hold on. This is crazy.
You know, it is interesting, the difference between UCLA, which is a public school, which does not have gates and is not considered private property, and
Is something wrong with these people?
Which is a private school, does now have gates and is considered private property, and they were, you know, much quicker to remove
this is crazy, bro.
USC than at UCLA, which is of course run by state leaders and may let this thing go for some time, but you get a sense of some of the animosity happening here.
I'm wondering, too, as we look here, Alex. Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, this is way different than what we were seeing yesterday at USC. Obviously, the police moved in and shut it down, and it was, peaceful. And I will say this one's been peaceful today, but anytime there's a counter-protester around or someone that gets inside this, that's when the demonstrators get upset.
I'm trying to read his sign. I don't know if you get a better view of it. It says, "Come talk." Obviously, we can't show all signs because sometimes the language on them. But I do want to wonder, I do question what is on his sign there. Matthew, if you can paint a picture for that.
Israel is not apartheid, come talk, is what it says.
So he's trying.
This is insane, bro. This whole country is going to hell. Real talk. Absolutely trash. Insane. So that's what's going on as far as them canceling classes and all of that stuff on the campuses and these stuff. I said that this was going to spiral out of control and it was going to turn into a crazy man show anyway. And I was absolutely right. But, such is life. Anyways, let me read some of the super chats and then we'll continue on with the show. My dog, Jay Johnson. Hold on, let me get the drum roll out here. This dog, y'all crazy out here. Crazy. Jay Johnson says, top of the morning, bag chaser. Shout out to my fellow truckers, ADM on my 10-hour reset in Sacramento. I got plenty of Patreon content to keep my mind strong. Gonna let you know, AD, God bless you, man. I'm inspired like crazy to get to the bag. Hey, shout out to my bag chasers. We got Stock Club this weekend. We got new videos coming. You know what I was thinking about? I was telling Rita. I said, man, I think I might do a Patreon meetup on my rooftop. Have it catered. Throw a DJ up there. Good energy. Everything valeted. A la carte. Y'all just show up, have a good time. Hey, when we do the meetup here in Detroit, what do y'all think about coming to the rooftop of my place and for us celebrating and us just having a good time? Y'all down with that? All right, we'll talk about it. I gotta make sure that Rita is down with it because she all about security. Anton, I don't want to. She all about security, so we got to make sure that we on top of that. Shout out to you and thank you to my dog Jay Johnson. And Nell says, Princess Cut Veneer, your 1500. I don't know what that means, but shout out to you. Zach says, not only will they not be walking on the stage, no one will want to hire them after this. Boy, it's hard for them. Hard out here for a pimp. Michael Merriweather says, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Kent State small hats are big mad. Appreciate you, big dog. Kenya from Cali, what up, baby? Says, you don't even need to fly planes in the buildings when you got TikTok and other social media platforms. Shout out to Kenya from Cali. I appreciate you. Joe Gunn 84 says, weirdo glasses, those are Teddy Roosevelt's. Shout out to you, big dog. I appreciate you on that front. Newski says, a family is two people with more than one kid. You don't even have that, but complain about migrants coming over when we're not at repopulation levels. How you complain but not helping repopulation? Let me read that again. A family is two people with more than one kid. You don't even have, he's saying that to me. Let me give him one of these. But complain about migrants coming over when we are not at repopulation levels. How you complain but not helping to repopulate? So you want me to go out here and have some random sex? Here, let me call my chick. See if I can have a kid. Give me a second. I know y'all be concerned about that type of stuff, so I want to make sure we all on the same page. Yeah, we're going to solve for that right now.
Hello?
Hey, Rita, somebody on the internet is saying that a family is two people with more than one kid. I wasn't aware of that. So we
not a family?
No, we not a family because we two married people and we only got one kid. So here's my question. Can I have another kid for Newski?
No.
No more kids?
No more kids.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. Bye. Well, I guess that's out of the questions. I don't have a family. I don't have a family, y'all, because I don't have more than one kid, and I'm worried about repopulation levels. So this is a type of ignorance that we see happening here. First of all, Anton is not against migration. I'm against illegal immigration into the country, all right? So we just going to leave that there. We're going to let the people jump off the bridge where they always do with comments like this, so shout out to you. I appreciate you, Newski, for telling me that I don't have a family. I feel sad now. Latrell M says, looks like a bunch of children playing in the sandbox. Shout out to Latrell M. I appreciate you. Manders. What's up, Manders? You know I like my little milk of magnesia. 3026. Hey, Anton, can you bring back the Yoda hat, please? With sugar on top? Absolutely. Because you asked for it, Manders, and I like my milk of magnesia, I'm definitely going to be bringing back the little baby Yoda hat over there in 1 second as soon as we get to the next one. And I need to check my computer to make sure that they're not pinging me because I'm supposed to be online right now. Let's get to the next segment of the show, y'all. How about that? Shout out to everybody that hold me down. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We got to continue over with the show, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot delay anymore because Manders said that Anton is supposed to be having his hat on. What would I do without my hat? What would I do without my hat, Manders? Where is my manners? All right, so let's continue over with the show. What do we got going on next? Tax cuts. Tax cuts, ladies and gentlemen. Tax cuts out here in the building. So there's a worry and there's a concern out here in these streets. There's a worry and there's concern out here in these streets. First, because we have inflation and costs are high and people are complaining every single day and they say, we don't have enough to live. We don't have enough to do what we do on a regular basis. We don't have enough to do on a regular basis. And I said, okay, I get it. I get it. But they now are saying that, listen, those Trump tax cuts that he gave us back when he was in office, those are going to expire. And on top of that, somebody told me that Biden has a new capital gains tax rate that he's trying to implement. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock. I'm going to go get my little hat while we looking at this, y'all.
This week, I spoke to voters in swing states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And one issue that kept coming up was this one. Who thinks the number one issue is the economy? Raise your hand.
Yes. I would say inflation.
Definitely the economy. Everything's just too much expense, too much to go eat.
Every time you go to buy food, bread, eggs, milk, everything has gone up so high.
Gas prices are ridiculous.
Who do you think is best fit to handle the economy?
Donald Trump. Everybody was doing well financially, and now it is turned upside down.
But things could get a lot worse in 2025 because President Trump's tax cuts are set to expire, and President Biden won't do anything to stop it, meaning tax hikes are on the horizon for many Americans. Here to break it all down is Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business, 2 p.m. Eastern Time every single day. So let's look at the big picture.
How y'all think that we supposed to pay for all of this stuff that's going on? How y'all think that we supposed to pay for this? What y'all thought that we was just going to get rid of all of these student loans and that we was just going to not pay for nothing? That we was going to send all of this money over to Ukraine? We was going to send a bunch of money over to Israel? We was going to send a bunch of money over to Taiwan? That we was going to be doing all of this stuff and we wasn't going to pay for it? What did you think was going to happen? You going to pay for it. Who? You. Middle America.
Right here, a lot of criticism of Donald Trump's America tax cuts, but you have a famous saying.
Well, here's the thing. President Biden can't have it both ways. You can't tell the world we're the best economy ever without acknowledging it's happening under Donald Trump's taxes. Would you assume that the same vibrancy that he says America has would exist if we shot taxes higher? Lawrence, let me just read one thing real quick. The Hill, this is from The Hill, 2021. Not really big Donald Trump fans, right? Our IRS data proves Trump tax cuts benefited middle working class Americans most. So if you unwind that, guess who it's going to hurt the most?
So when we look at the numbers, this is just single people, no kids. If you're making $30,000 a year, you're going to be paying $253. Right. If you're making $52,000 a year, $1,400, no kids.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. You paying more money than if see, this is one of the things that Trump don't get credit for. Oh, man, we trying to figure it out. We doing better. All of this other stuff. Well, you're doing it under the exact same tax code that Donald Trump implemented that you never wanted to give him credit for. For all of y'all that ain't got no kids and you making a lot of money, it's your turn. It's your turn. Remember when they was only saying, listen, guys, no new taxes for anybody that's making under $600,000 a year married and $250,000 a year combined. No new taxes. And everybody was like, let me tell you what everybody said during the State of the Union. No new taxes. No new taxes. Yeah. So if you are a person with no kids, meaning that you're responsible, or you're a person with kids, meaning that you're taking care of your children, guess what? You get a tax raise. You get a tax raise, and you get a tax raise. Absolutely. Most people don't even have $1,000 in an emergency, but you get to pay more taxes. God bless you.
Kids, again, $75,000 a year. You're going to be paying additional $1,700.
And this is after coming through the worst, dealing with the...
If you make $75,000 a year and you don't have any kids, let me say that again. If you make $75,000, because see, everybody was saying, oh man, the tax cut only benefit the rich. No, it benefited you. You just didn't want to acknowledge it. You just didn't want acknowledgement. Hold on, wait. Who timed out Slimmy? Who timed out Slimmy? Your car. Text me, let me know who timed out Slimmy. I need to know who timed out Slimmy. What the heck? Slimmy is untouchable. Is Slimmy banned or is he timed out? No. We don't do that. Slimmy is untouchable. What the heck is going on out in these streets? Can we untime out Slimmy real quick? Is that a way for us to untime out Slimmy? Come on, y'all. Hold on. All right.
The worst inflation in 4 decades, okay? This is on top of that. This is adding insult to injury. And this, whatever happened to the promise? Remember, no one under 400,000, which is such a
yep, that's what they said. Nobody under 400,000.
Out of a hat. And by the way, since you started talking about it 6 or 7 years ago, inflation really means that's a number that's really 200,000 6 or 7 years ago. The bottom line is that this is an administration, there's a philosophy out there that believes, for some reason, that allowing us to keep more of our hard-earned money is giving us something. You're not giving me anything by lowering my taxes. I've earned that money already. It's not your money, government. You just can't stop spending because you want this giant, huge government that dictates who wins, who loses. And the only way you can fuel that is by confiscating money from people who worked hard to earn it.
Charles, they're not just going to stop at single people.
Right.
If you got kids, you're a married couple. Let's say you're bringing $85,000. You're going to be paying an additional $1,600. You got 2 kids. The dream used to be 6 figures.
Right.
They can bring in $165,000. As a married couple, you're going to pay an additional $2,400. If you got 3 kids, you're pulling it. You're both making 6 figures. $200K, $7,400.
This is the one I feel sorry for people. You done worked your ass off.
You're going to get crushed.
Listen, no, you.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let me put some thoughts in it. Wait a minute.
You got 2 kids.
You got 2 kids and you're making $85,000 a year. You're going to be paying an extra $1,600 a month. Or $1,600.
The dream used to be 6 figures.
Right.
2 kids, $165,000. You got to pay an extra $2,400 a month. And if you got 3 kids and you making $200,000 a year, not only are you already paying an egregious amount of taxes, and this is for married people. We already did some of the single people. You paying an extra $7,500. Come on, man. Stop it, bro. This is crazy. Thank you for not timing him out anymore. This is crazy, bro. You know, I see people in the chat saying tax the people with kids just like the people without kids. Why are we paying more taxes in the first place? Why are we paying more taxes in the first place? That is the problem. Y'all don't see this as a problem? Y'all don't see this as an issue? Y'all don't see this as a problem? Y'all don't see this as an issue? That is the problem in the first place, is that taxes is too high, and they trying to raise taxes even more. Not only are you already paying a whole lot of taxes on your income, and this is one of the reasons why we got the Patreon, but we also got to pay more taxes when it comes to property taxes, and more taxes on food, and more taxes on plane tickets, and more taxes. Man, listen, bro, I went and bought my new MacBook Pro. I think it was like an additional $700 in taxes that I had to pay on that thing. I said, man, what? This is crazy.
They can bring it in $165,000. As a married couple, you're going to pay an additional $2,400. If you got 3 kids, you're pulling it. You're both making 6 figures, $200K, $7,400.
This is the one I feel sorry for people. You done worked your ass off.
You're going to get crushed.
Listen, no, you worked your ass off. You're about 42 years old, right? Now you're making it. Your kids know you're making it. They don't care what the taxes are. They want this, they want that, they want this, they want to go to this school. So you've got Uncle Sam taking it on this part. You got your kids who want it. You've got your relatives who say, I heard you were doing really well, and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. This 200,000 area, that's where the pain really begins. You wonder why people making 200,000 are miserable? They don't have any money.
Charles, folks have a...
And that's the truth. A lot of people think that just because you gross 200, that's what you're taking home. It's not true. That's not true. And the more you allegedly repopulate, like you try to tell me to do, the more that they're going to kick your butt. The more that they're going to, hey, no more family vacations, no new cars, no nothing. No nothing. I'm telling you, no nothing. Man, look, when you get your paycheck and you see the amount of taxes that's taken out and they didn't even have to do anything to earn it, yo, at least give me some, let me be quiet. At least give me something to go home feeling happy about so I don't feel like I'm getting wasted. Yo, you look, think about it. You're telling me to pay a whole lot of money for nothing. The only time that I ever see people get away with that is if you're a woman that got, let me be quiet. Let me be quiet because they don't want me to talk about it. The only time I see people get away with that is modern women. Women are the only ones that can get away with giving you something for nothing. And that's the suckers that get that. You telling me they ain't got to do nothing for my money? The only thing that they got to do is just sit there and take it? And you could just take my bag and that's the end of it? I don't get nothing in return. I don't get no companionship. I don't get a new car. I don't get a thank you. They don't even say thank you. They say you better than pay more than your fair share, and then we'll give you a refund if we made a mistake. Otherwise, we going to come after you, and we'll put you in jail. If you don't pay your taxes on money that you earn, you going to jail, dog. And they're going to charge you interest on that junk if you don't file in time. You giving them a free loan all year long in order for them to come back and say, if you don't pay enough, we coming back and get all of that. And they hiring more agents to make sure that they do it.
For more on this, let's bring in Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. Grover Norquist, Joe Biden tweeted this, of course he didn't write it, that Trump tax cut is going to expire. If I'm reelected, it's going to stay expired. And he has always said it's benefited the wealthy and biggest corporations. And that is just pig potatoes. 2/3 of American households, thereabouts, got a tax cut, and the biggest beneficiaries were middle-class Americans, full stop.
But they hate Trump. Oh, my God. I hate him for putting more money in my pocket. I hate him for doing a tariff war with China. I hate him for negotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement. I hate him for spending more money, giving it over to HBCUs than any president before him. I hate him. I can't believe that we got this guy that liked to get boxed inside of the White House. Oh my God, he's so corrupt. I hate him for record unemployment was lower than ever before, especially amongst the black community. I hate it. I can't stand it. I want to pay more taxes. I want to make sure that our universities is underfunded. I want to make sure that we continue to be under duress. I want it. I want to defund the police. I want these American cities to fail. I want our borders open so everybody can just come on in and say and do whatever it is that they want to do when we want to do it. I want it.
Look, Trump's tax cut, the Republican tax cut, reduced marginal tax rates for everybody who pays income taxes. Everyone who pays income taxes saw their tax rates go down.
Instead of us paying more taxes, we need to be more fiscally responsible as a nation. This is the only business as far as politics in these cities and these states and these governments where you can go in and overspend and just go and get some more money from the people. Hey, man, I overspent this year. Let me go and get some more money. Let's do another millage. This is the only business in the world where you can overspend, be fiscally irresponsible, and nobody can hold you accountable as a result of it. Think about that for a minute. The answer is not to overtax. The answer is to be more fiscally responsible. Why are we continuing to put more money into these social programs? California spent $28 billion on homelessness and didn't even put a dent into it. Chicago just borrowed another $70 million in order to support migrants.
You got the child tax credit. And what Biden said all during the campaign when he ran was he was going to get rid of all of the Trump tax cuts. And that includes taking our corporate income tax, which used to be higher than China. And thanks to Trump and the Republicans, it went down to below China's. He wants to take it either all the way to 35%, which is what he said during the campaign. He's going to abolish the tax cut, or up to 28%, higher than China's, higher than the European average. He wants your company that you work for to be punished more than the communist Chinese tax their own businesses, so we won't be competitive. Biden wants you to have to compete on lower wages against China, not lower taxes.
Yeah, let's dig into that a little bit, because when he talks about the corporations, what he's trying to say is, middle-class America, I'm not going after you, I'm going after the big rich companies. And of course, what that means, Grover, is that when you go after the company, you're actually going after middle-class Americans, whether you're a consumer, whether you're a worker, or whether you're somebody who wants to retire. Isn't that right?
Look, absolutely. And here's the good news for Trump and the Republicans and the American economy. We did focus groups at Americans for Tax Reform. Do people understand who pays the corporate income tax? And the answer is Americans, average Americans, know that when you tax a grocery store, the prices of the things at the grocery store goes up. The wages of the people who work at the grocery store can't go up because the government took that money. And if you have a 401k or an IRA, if you own shares of stock and Biden's taxes are so bad that stock prices fall, your life savings decline. So he hits people who are saving for the future, people who are consumers during the day, and people who work. Those are middle-class people. 70% or more of the corporate income tax directly hits consumers, people. There is no Mr. General Motors writing checks. They're only consumers and workers.
I am going to move on, but if you look at Biden's economic agenda, it has been hurt the many to enrich and bail out the few, period. Whether it's the vast amount of money, like hundreds of billions of dollars that have gone to his corporate cronies, to subsidies, the student loan bailouts when almost 90% of Americans don't have any student loan debt. And now this idea about I'm going to hike corporate taxes and I'm going to get rid of the Trump tax cuts. All of this only benefits the few, and it damages and destroys the livelihoods of so many. But I want to move on to this. The president's 2025 budget proposal plans to raise the capital gains tax rate to 44.6%. Big sigh from Grover. That's the highest rate since its creation in 1922. And according to the Treasury Department, that's because, quote, preferential tax rates also disproportionately benefit white taxpayers who receive the overwhelming majority of the benefits of the reduced rates.
So under Biden's proposed plan, the combined federal-state capital gains tax would exceed 50% in a whole bunch of states, with California reaching nearly 60. Grover, that sounds to me like a terrible penalty on investment, which is a good thing, isn't it?
If you and your spouse buy a small business, start a small business, and work at it for 20, 30, 40 years, and then you sell that business, you get a capital gain, okay? And that's your life savings. That's your work. For all those 40 years, you've been paying personal income taxes and sales taxes and the FICA taxes for your workers and property taxes and state income taxes. Tax, 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 tax. Now you're going to sell the business and earn some money. And Biden says, by the way, between the federal government and your state government, they're going to take half of your life work. And
Now y'all see why people that got resources, their number one goal is to figure out how they can keep most of it. Y'all think that they the bad guys because they want to keep most of what they earn and what they work for. Who the bad guy? Who is the bad guy? The bad guy is not the person that ultimately is working and earning a living and trying to get rich. The bad guy is the person that's trying to take everything that you got as a result of whatever it is that you earn. Come on, man. You're going to take half my stuff? You're going to take half my stuff? That's worse than going to family court. At least I got to hit it first. At least I got to hit it first. You gonna take half my stuff? That's crazy. That's insane. Man, why would you take half my stuff?
he thinks that's funny.
They think they know better. They think these lifelong bureaucrats and these lawmakers who've never worked a real job think they make better decisions about your life, with your money, about your health, every way, shape, and form than you do.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro. So, y'all can thank y'all daddy Biden for that one. Y'all can thank y'all daddy for that one. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Biden administration for making sure that the tax code and all of the stuff that we need to do is going to be taken care of. He going to take care of y'all. He going to make sure that we all good and ain't nobody going to have to worry about nothing going forward. All right. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats. And then we going to continue on with the show. Casual Germ says, adopt a migrant for Newski. Newski should run for mayor of Chicago. Shout out to Newski. Shout out to Newski. Hold on. We them boys. Let me see something real quick. True to myself. Did you just call me an SOB? Oh my gosh. So let me address this real quick. I know everybody in the chat like, dang, true to myself, you used to really used to be down for Anton. Well, true to myself has been using his wrench like the Biden administration. And now he's calling me straight up evil. Now I'm evil because I took your wrench? Oh, no. Hold on, dog. Don't call me evil. Don't call. Because I took your wrench, I'm evil? Come on, man. Hold on, bro. You can't be that pressed, bro. Don't crash out over a wrench, big dog. Don't crash out over a wrench. Now, true to myself, I've been observing, and you have been being very, very, very reckless in the chat with the wrench, big dog. You have been very, very reckless in the chat with the wrench. Now, true to myself, you're going to have to relax. And the reason that you're going to have to relax is because you've been being very, very aggressive with your wrench. Now, this is an equal accountability show, right? And so everybody, including myself, has to be held accountable for their actions. They got to be held accountable. You got to be held accountable for your actions. You've been out here getting into it with people in the chat, timing them out, banning them. I got to go back to the settings and get the people. I don't have time to be going back to the settings to get people back together. You got to be a little bit more democratic with it. We like to let people say what they want to say, think what they want to think, and do what y'all want to do. It's so many people all the time like, oh, man, why true to something myself keep banning me? I ain't even do nothing and all of that. Come on, man. Just relax. Listen, just chill out. Take a day. Relax. Don't crash out. And let the people rock out. They may disagree with me. They may mess up and all of that. Come on, man. You got to relax. You got to relax, all right? So true to myself. Don't call me an SOB. I'm not an SOB. Right now, you on a PIP. Don't let this be your villain arc. Don't let this be your villain arc. You are on a performance improvement plan. And so I would like to see you improve the way that you communicate with the people, because with great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Listen. This is real. We're growing as a platform, okay? We have a lot of people that tune into the show. All right? It's a lot of people that tune into the show. We have to make sure that we're growing with the audience, and so we need to evolve. We can't let our emotions control us and then start timing people out and getting into it with people just because we got a wrench. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. Listen, we're going to get it together. We're going to reevaluate some things. Email me. You can put my email address inside of the chat. And Brandy, this show does go left, don't it? Yeah. Come on, see? Look at this. You called me names, Trap and Slay miss me. See, that's why you got to be careful, bro. That's why I can't give you a wrench, because you out here abusing the people that support the platform. These people love me. They love you too. And just because they disagree with you don't necessarily mean that you get to time them out and tell them that they banned from the platform and then they can't super chat and they can't help us. They can't do none of the good stuff and all of that. Man, you're going to have to get it together, bro. Don't let this be your villain arc. See, now you feeling some type of way. You did this to yourself. So take ownership and responsibility and be responsible. Let me give out some replacement wrenches while we at it. Hold on one second. And we're going to get back to the show, y'all. Don't worry about it. It's Friday. It's Friday. Come on, man. Don't be sensitive. Let me see. Classy beats. I got to get classy beats. Hold on there. Yeah, don't make a video about me, big dog. I love y'all. We get my dog. Put him on there. Add him as a moderator. Standard moderator. Got him. Got my dogs in there. Oh, Antonio Watkins, that's my guy. Give him a wrench. And let me get my dog in here, DJ Ace. I'm just randomly throwing them out there, y'all, because I need help. I do need help, and I don't, I want to make sure that all of my people, We can't be timing people out. You know what I'm saying? We can't be doing that. We got to look out for the people. The people love us. The people always holding us down. And we got to love on each other, all right? So y'all, if you do get a wrench, I'm just curious, or y'all got to be nice. Be nice to people when you get your wrench, all right? I appreciate y'all. McCole, I got to get McCole a wrench. Let me add her as a moderator. That's my girl. So, anyways, we got to get back to the show. We going to have to get back to the show, all right? I can't be out here. We got to be nice, y'all. Oh, I pinned you? My bad. I didn't mean to pin you. I don't even know how to do this as well as I should. My bad. I pinned you. Let me add as moderator. Got my dog Classy in the buildings. All right, y'all. All right. So true to myself. Take some time. Think about it. Oh, I got to get my dog Chris James. Chris James got to get a wrench for sure. Take some time. Get yourself together. And, you know, we going to get there. All right. More wrenches to come soon. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. So true to myself. Got to get it together, big dog. With great power comes great responsibility. But you're not fired. You're just on a performance improvement plan. All right. You're just on a performance improvement plan. Because everybody else was getting mad. Everybody else was being held accountable. I was holding all of the moderators accountable because you kept being crazy with your wrench, big dog. Come on, man. We got to focus. Oh, man. This is crazy in these streets. All right. Let's read the rest of this. We got to get to the rest of the show. Sister! Says, Mr. AD, I hope you do not mind my sharing a PSA. The Maryland 2024 primary election. I don't mind. You know you ain't. You got. Do sister got a wrench? Hold on. I need to know if sister got a wrench. Because if sister ain't got a wrench, ain't nobody. Everybody getting their wrenches removed if sister ain't got a wrench. And that's a fact. Sister, make sure you comment. I got to make sure you got a wrench. Do sister got a wrench, y'all? If nobody got a wrench, it better be her. Sis, you comment in the chat and we're going to make sure we get you your wrench because I don't believe in sister not having a wrench. That's a fact, though. All right? So as soon as sister comment, we get her a wrench. It says primary election is on Tuesday, May 14th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Early voting from May 2nd to May 9th, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Request the mail-in ballot by Tuesday, May 7th. Tuesday, May 7th. Sister, this is very, very important, y'all. Sister, hold on. I don't care. Sister, you ain't even got to use your wrench. I just want to make sure that you got one because you done been supporting the platform too much. You're too much of a nice person to not have a wrench, all right? Put her a wrench on there. All right, we good with sis. Thank you, sister, for always giving us that PSA and helping us to understand what's happening out in these streets. We love you, baby. Jay Johnson says, yo, AD, you coming to L.A., bro? I'm always out in L.A., at least twice a year. While you here, you got to try my uncle restaurant, the Blue Hole, Belize restaurant on Crenshaw. Hold on. We them boys. My bad, Chad. Blessings to y'all. Blessings to the Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Let me get my Google Maps on so I can figure out what's happening over at Crenshaw because that's not necessarily the name that I thought that it was going to be. I thought you was going to say on Rodeo Boulevard or something, but we going to get there. I hear Oklahoma is nice. That's what Quentin said. Yeah. Yeah. I should not be having this much fun just because I'm participating with the chat. Shout out to my dog Quentin. Next Level MF is in the building. Says put some respect on Slimmy in the chat. Slimmy is the man. That's my guy. Me and Slimmy go back years. I know him in real life. Devin Braxton says they need more money to fund Israel and Ukraine. That's a fact, though. Shout out to my dog, Devin Braxton. Sister says, fam, If you do not join the Patreon gang Discord after this story, you will be so sorry. Talk to him, sis. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. DJ Ace, Ace Production says, taxes, legalize extortion at its finest. I agree with you 100%. Shout out to my dog, DJ Ace. Next Level MF is in the building. Shout out to Next Level MF says, Ton, the IRS told me I need to pay $12,000 by May 12th or else. They not playing. I'm like Tyrese. What more do you want from me? Shout out to my dog, Next Level MF. I appreciate you. My girl's sister says, Mr. AD, we need to get our passports and consider establishing citizenship elsewhere. Just a thought. What would you suggest? Where should we establish citizenship? What's a safe place that's not going to be underwater in 20 years? I'm curious. Chase Barnes says, at this rate, we all going to be working until we're 100 and retiring at 101, dying at 102 if Biden stay in office. And then they're going to tax that. Time Out says, didn't they increase the child tax credit earlier this year? Why if they're going to tax us more? Because, man, they don't like Bad Man Orange, big dog. T. Crawford is in the building, says, that's what I'm trying to use. My TSSCI clearance to find tax-free tech gig overseas after graduation. Listen, the name of the game is to try to figure out how we can reduce our taxes. Rod Brown says, can I get a wrench now? Don't worry, I'm true to myself. And the people, of course, ride. I'm a work on that. I'll give out a lot of wrenches today. So I got to limit my wrench gang. Well Building Journey says, now it's time to hand out another wrench time. Yep, that's a fact, though. Gray Way in the building says, what do the wrench mean? Oh, the gray way. The wrench means that you have the ability to moderate in the chat and determine what people can and can't say. And so we have to wield our power very carefully. My new wrench gang member, shout out to my dog. Chris James is in the building. Donation of customer service and admins of the chat training program. We putting people on pips, Chris James. Fact of the matter. Shout out to my dog, Chris. Jay Johnson says, AD, I truck and drive a lot. I was going to save this question for the one-on-one, but I kind of want to know now, though. Should it be a MacBook Air or a MacBook Pro? Oh, and a Pontiac GTO 1965 or a Mustang SS 1977? Just asking, bro. GTO. Yeah, so we got to go with the GTO. We always going with the GTO, okay? We always going with the GTO. That's not even a question. That's like asking, well, we'll get there. GTO number one, and then number two, it depends on what you're using it for. I think for most people, a MacBook Air would be sufficient, especially with the new M1 chips. If you just want a future-proof and you really, really want a workhorse, which I got a workhorse, which I use it for everything all day, I probably run my computers probably 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours a day sometimes. I got the MacBook Pro. So I got the MacBook Pro Max, and I spent a whole lot of money for my stuff, and I got two of them now. So maybe I'll be able to use one, leave one here and then leave one over there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Mr. Vin says, Pip Gang. Shout out to the Pip Gang. If you ever been on a Pip, you know what that means. Xavier M says, all praises, my brother. Alhamdulillah. I don't even know what that means, but we're going to get there. My dog, Brittany says, Wrench Gang, one of your first ones after you only had one. Shout out to my girl, Brittany B. Jeremy H says, what did I just witness? Anton took his belt off, pulled somebody's pants down, and spanked them in front of the classroom. Fridays are wild. No. Let's do the timeline correct. I got called a SOB. That's what happened. When I got called a SOB, and I had to address it. I shouldn't be getting called a SOB. I didn't even do nothing to nobody but help people. Can I get a wrench? Hey, man, on one, we working on that, big dog. I got to get the show rolling. Do some different says, I'm pretty new and must support my bro. Always great information and vibes. Shout out to my dog, Do Some Diff. Wealth Building Journey in the building says, become a bag chaser. Tap into the Patreon. Y'all link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Joe Gunn says, Quentin is not trying to tell you about Oklahoma City bus driver who got attacked while the bus was moving and then crashed into a building. Quentin. They over there causing crime over in Oklahoma City? My girl says, Mr. AD, since the criminals are leaving South America and coming to America, let's pick one of those countries there. I don't know. It's almost feel like we got to figure out what the corruptions and the cartels is doing and all of that. We got to do some research, sister. Maybe I need to do some international investing. Get my Spanish up. No hablo española. Sister, I love that girl. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to continue over with the show? Let's get to it. I say we need to attack why U.S. cities are failing. I got 2 more segments that I want to get to. The last one is probably going to be the most entertaining of the day. Contrary to popular belief, it's going to be the most entertaining of the day. But the first thing that we want to tackle is why are U.S. cities starting to go broke? This is something I believe that I've seen on CNBC. Yep, I'm correct, CNBC. And they did an entire segment on the fact that these cities are in debt, they're going to be under a crisis, and are basically in a doom loop. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it popping.
Major cities across the U.S. are in financial trouble.
I think we can all agree on that we're broke.
We're seeing sales tax come down, we're seeing business tax come down, and stays in our hotels come down.
One study says that 53 of the largest cities in the United States haven't generated enough revenue to cover their bills.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't see not one Michigan city on that map. I don't see not one Michigan city. Let me give a round of applause for Detroit, Michigan. Not one Michigan city is on that map. This is cities that did not have enough money to be able to pay their bills at the end of fiscal year 2022. Houston, $6 billion in a hole. Remember when we did that whole segment on Houston and Houston said, nah, I'm broke. I'm broke. Philadelphia, $11 billion. New York, $177 billion in the hole. Jesus. And you know what they do? They borrow money, which then cause more interest. It's the same thing that you do. Portland, $4.4 billion. Chicago, $38 billion. Look at all of the cities over there in California. Jesus. Good googly moo. Good God. Hey, true to myself, just relax, bro. Just chill out, big dog. It's not that big of a deal, man.
Clearly, there are significant capital needs, across the U.S.
Several cities spent years taking on debt to fund services. And now some public officials are reining in spending.
We've got to be careful because you don't want to get into too much debt.
Rising debt may lead to dirtier streets, fewer public services, and tough decisions from public officials that need to make ends meet.
Oh, that's New York. I see that. I see Letitia James.
Tough decisions from public officials.
Governor Hochul, the governor of New York, Eric Adams. You know what's bad? You know you run in a bad city when I do so much content on how bad you run in your city that I know everybody by first and last name, and I'm not even a part of their city. When we can say Governor Hochul and Letitia James, the person that they was all in cahoots together in order to try to prosecute Trump, and you got Eric Adams who said that he dyslexic, and all of the legislators and all of the people that's finessing y'all around him, you know it's bad when these people can't even come together in order to balance their own budget, but they opening up the doors for migrants to come to their city. They spending more time, money, and resources on going after Trump than they do on trying to balance the own budget of their city.
That need to make ends meet.
The cities that are in trouble, they have a cash flow problem. They may be able to count on some revenue growth. Increasing taxes may be an option. Short of that, they're going to have
increase in taxes
or benefits.
Why are so many U.S. cities going broke? And what will that mean for residents of our biggest and busiest places? Running a major city is expensive. For an example,
what's up,
look at
Mika?
New York City. With over 8 million residents spread across 5 counties, it has to pay for more than most.
It's a dense, diverse place that requires
reading that super chat shortly, big dog.
Public realm.
Brad Lander is Comptroller of New York, the top accountant for the city. Comptrollers review every financial aspect of city government. In the case of New York, that includes over 1,700 parks, over 200 library branches, 11 acute care public hospitals, 472 subway stations, and about 177,000 affordable housing units. Like many other parts of the U.S., New York City sells municipal bonds to fund many of these projects.
The city's bonds are like your mortgage, for long-term expenditures, something that you're going to use over generally 10, 20, 30 years. you borrow for it.
Here's how it works. Investors foot the bill for the city's general obligations. The city promises to pay them back later on with interest.
We pay the interest on our bonds, but then we can use those bonds to build schools and invest in our water and sewer infrastructure and subsidize affordable housing. But then we've got to be careful because you don't want to get into too much debt.
Some experts.
So the way that they manage the cities is the exact same way that we manage our personal budgets. And so it's important not only for us to have community advocates and people that stand for the community, but we also want to have people in office that understand fiscal responsibility, that understands how to do things from a business perspective. It's not enough. It's not enough for people to just be in office because they say the right thing. And so when y'all see these people come to y'all and they saying, oh my God, we're going to do so much good and we're going to fix the roads and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Okay, the first question that you should ask yourself is, well, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for these roads? How are you going to pay for these new schools? Y'all keep saying, oh my God, they need to build new schools. Okay, well, what's going to support those new schools? Because it takes gas, infrastructure, administrators, books, clothing, all of this stuff. It takes a lot of money to continue to generate enough revenue that keep these schools supported. So it's not just throwing money at the problem, it's actually asking the question of how you're going to pay for it. Well, usually what they do is they borrow from it and then they kick the can down the road until whoever it is, the new person that's going to come into office and they have to inherit the problem. Similar to what's going on in Houston right now, right? Because the current mayor in Houston is not the person that caused all of these problems. And so what they do is they do the same thing that they do to the credit card companies. Investors come in, they loan the city money in the form of bonds and all of this stuff, right? And that's why cities themselves have a credit rating in the same way that you have a credit rating, cities have a credit rating, right? And so they borrow out the hill, they can't pay the interest back, or they can't pay for these bonds, and then ultimately what happens is the city go broke and then they have to reorganize in bankruptcy just like you, a regular person. You guys have to ask the important question. How are we going to pay for what is happening in these cities? And why are we going broke? That's why I'm forecasting the downfall of Chicago. New York, maybe not so much because they make too much money and there's too many people in order for them to fail, so they can recover from this. But what's happening in Chicago, combined with the exodus and the rising of taxes in order to try to pay for what's happening over there, including the migrant crisis, is going to be one of the biggest downfalls in the largest major city to ever file bankruptcy in the history of bankruptcy from cities in the United States of America. It's coming. It may not be next year. It may not be the year after that. It may not be the year after that. But I'm telling you that what is going to happen to places like Chicago, if they keep going down this path, ultimately they will not be able to generate enough revenue to keep their bills up, and they're going to try to tax y'all to death, and then ultimately it's going to create a doom loop, and they're supposed to be incentivizing businesses to come over there, create jobs, raise up property taxes that then put more money into the coffers, make sure that they balance in their budgets, don't give money over to the migrants, and then take care of business. But they're not. And all y'all think that it matters is whether or not he's an educator and he's for the people. No, he's taking y'all money and he's throwing it down the drain.
Experts believe that cities and state governments in the U.S. are selling bonds to spend more money than they can pay back.
In our study, we gave the city of New York an F grade.
Sheila Weinberg is the founder and CEO of Truth in Accounting, a nonprofit that says they promote transparency in public accounting.
What we found is that the city has $177 billion of debt. This represents $61,800 per taxpayer.
New York City calculates a smaller debt than the estimate from Truth in Accounting.
So right now, we've got about $96 billion of debt outstanding. Currently, the way the debt ceiling works, we could borrow up to about $125 billion. So we have $25 to $30 billion of room.
The group claims that many so-called sinkhole cities have more bond debt obligations than they're reporting publicly. They focus on underfunded pensions and retiree health benefits that are owed to public employees, but backed by investments in the stock market.
We see pension and retiree healthcare debt problems in most major cities. We also find that with the 50 states.
As of 2024, U.S. pensions are underfunded by $1.6 trillion, according.
Did y'all know that these cities is on the hook for continuing to pay for the pensions of the people that's been retired for a long time? Nope, you never even considered that. because you think that your taxes is going to just what it is that you see on a day-to-day basis. People cleaning up the street, picking up the trash, police officers, firefighters, and the like, right? Paying the salaries of the people that's making the decisions that's not best for you. That's not true. A lot of what's going on is they are paying for people that retire. So in order to get these police officers to join the police force, they have to give them much more greater benefits because they don't make as much money, right? Part of those benefits is a pension. What killed the auto industry? A lot of things. One of it was legacy operation costs, meaning when they used to promise your grandfather and your father, oh, you get a pension, you get a pension, you get a pension. Work here 30 years, retire, and we'll take care of you for the rest of your life. That was at a time that they didn't have any legacy costs. So now they got legacy costs. And so when they filed for bankruptcy, what they did was they passed those legacy costs over to the UAW. They created a fund, they funded it, and they said to UAW, you guys make your own investments and try to multiply this money at a rate that's greater than what it is that you got to pay as far as your payments for these legacy costs, which include the pensions. They passed them over to the UAW, right? The UAW is trying to grow enrollment so they'll have greater money in their coffers to cover their costs, which include retiree pension obligations that they have from yesteryear, which is one of the reasons why they got rid of pensions and they start going towards 401ks, because as they continue to compound and the payments to continue to go over, they were less likely to be able to withstand the ebbs and the flows of what happens within the auto industry, the boom and the bust cycles. Because regardless, whether you're doing well or you're doing bad, whether it's 2008 or it's 2016, you still have to pay that pension obligation. And it's the same thing when it comes to cities. Cities are very much ran just like regular businesses. They are very much ran just like regular businesses. The only thing that they don't have to do is provide a service, but they still collect tax revenue, which is the monies that's supposed to be used to make your life better and easier. But what they do is they get greedy and they overpromise and they say, oh man, we're going to do more for this part of the city. We're going to do more for this part of the city, but they don't have enough revenue coming in order to be able to sustain it. And so then they borrow. They say, well, we got enough money to pay our bills. What's now included in those bills is the interest payments that go along with those bonds. And so what y'all have to do is start to vote people in based off of good policy and great management, not vote people in based off of identity politics. Identity politics have no place when it comes to running a business or running a city. Because when you get the wrong people in office, Brandon Johnson, Tiffany Henyard, Eric Adams, Mike Johnston, Charles Dickens, Karen Bass, when you get all of these wrong people in office, Gavin Newsom, eventually they're going to be driving your city into bankruptcy. And it's going to be bad for you. Y'all leave True to Myself by, y'all don't go, stop going off on True to Myself. Let that man live. He chilling. Don't bother True to Myself. Just don't even feed into it.
To researchers at Stanford, they point out that pension contributions are invested in the stock market, then paid back to employees for the rest of their lives.
Our pension funds are fiscally sound. They're 80% funded, and we have a path to get them to be 100% funded over the next decade or so.
If public officials invest funds in stock markets and the bet goes the wrong way, it can make or break a city.
Did y'all know that some of these cities and some of these pensions and all of this stuff, they were invested with the Bernie Madoffs and, you know, some of these places and the Enrons and all of that. Did y'all know that part of the reason why a lot of these cities are then complaining about what's happening in their own budget is because they were dependent on that money and that return on investment that ultimately continue to keep themselves afloat? That's why it was such a big deal that they persecute or prosecute a lot of these people that was having these Ponzi schemes, because they invest their money in these funds just like you. The same way that you got a 401k, the same way you got Fidelity, the same way that you got these investments, they are investing your money hoping to get a return on that investment in order to keep themselves afloat just like you. And so when they then lose this money and you see people say, oh my God, I lost all of my pension, that's because whoever was managing that made the bad choices and the bad investments and whatever it is that you needed in order to sustain yourself for the rest of your life. And you're the one that's got to pay the price for it. That's why they then go after these people and prosecute them, because it's big money. It's big money.
For example, retiree payment obligations are part of what sent Detroit into bankruptcy in 2013. In the fallout, Detroit temporarily revised its pension program to limit payouts to former employees. This decision let the city put more money into its reserves.
Even though that's an expense that was incurred and they have that debt, it doesn't have to be included in the balanced budget requirement. If I don't pay that invoice, I don't have to include it in my balanced budget.
Truth in Accounting points out that cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, Houston, Portland, and Miami all owed more money than they held in assets in fiscal year 2022. That year, stocks sank in the worst year since the Great Recession, before recovering. As a result, cities from coast to coast have had to tamp down on spending to balance their budgets.
Mr. Mayor, hi.
Yes, how are you?
In New York, Mayor Eric Adams entered 2024 with a $7 billion budget gap, largely attributed to an increase in asylum seekers and migrants arriving in the city.
Now, do you understand why it was such a big deal when we saying that these migrants is coming into these cities? These cities that saying that they sanctuary cities and they can't even afford to pay their own bills before the migrants got there, yet they offering these people debit cards, they offering them free health care, they paying for them to go to school, they giving them shelter, they paying these hotels the maximum rate that the hotel can charge them, and that's all on your dime. That's your dollar, dog. That's all on your dime. It was the dumbest decision, and it is going to be the one that probably haunts them. I see these people in the chat a lot of times and they say, Anton, I can't believe you're against migrants coming into this country. No, I'm against becoming a sanctuary city and you doing it illegally because you have no way to support yourself. Then it becomes my obligation as a taxpayer to make sure that you support it, and you're not even supposed to be here. You snuck in here, dog. You snuck in. That's why it's important for y'all to vet y'all leaders. Oh, but voting doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. It 100% matters. There's nothing more important to you personally than your local elections. Yet we see local elections have the lowest voter turnout rate ever. Ever. And you're not going to get these type of talks unless you're coming over here to the Millionaire Morning Show. That's why y'all got to make sure y'all tapping into the Patreon. Link is in the description. You don't get these type of talks on no other place. You don't get this kind of conversation. You don't get them breaking it down to you from a C student's perspective. You don't get anybody helping you to understand why it's important for you to participate in your legislative process. You know why? Because they're so busy keeping you entertained by stuff that don't matter for your life. It's fun to talk about Tia Mowry, but it's better for me if I really give you some game and some understanding on how your city's finances is working so that you can make more informed decisions on who you have as your legislators. This is important. We got to put the medicine in the candy. I know we have fun, but we got to get to the money, and we need to start breaking down exactly what happens. Who's better suited to break it down than the person that actually understands finances and can break it down from a C student's perspective? Shout out to my dog, Jay Woodfin.
He proceeded with spending cuts dubbed PEG, a program to eliminate the gap.
These actions, along with an unexpectedly strong economy, help balance fiscal year 25. But we're not out of the woods.
So what the mayor announced was a series of 3 5% cuts that add up a little shy of 15%. A lot of those cuts that are being felt very,
True to myself. Nobody would even know that you lost your wrench if you had just been quiet. Nobody brought it up. You in here making a big deal about nothing. Stop whining and just relax, bro. Just chill. Just be quiet. Nobody would know that you didn't even have a wrench if you wouldn't even be whining and making it a big deal. You're making it a big deal bigger than it really is, bro. It's not that big of a deal. Come on, man.
Probably by New Yorkers.
For example, the city comptroller says funding cuts for public education will end some class offerings at the City University of New York, while increasing class sizes. Additionally, many libraries in the city are cutting their hours.
There's not one neighborhood library left that's still open 7 days a week. Obviously, if you work during the week and the weekend is when you can get there with your kids, that can be really devastating.
The mayor's budget also cut funding for programs that provide an alternative to incarceration, a policy that reduced strain on New York City's jails.
So you have to make hard choices in budgeting, but it really is important not to be penny wise and pound foolish.
The city governments of Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles are all cutting back on spending too.
You have upward pressure on wages and downward pressure on city revenues. That creates a gap that we are facing right now that we need to fill. So we're paying for positions that are not filled and are delivering no services. That's a practice that we need to pull back on if we're going to have a balanced budget.
The Los Angeles County government sees stagnant revenue growth in 2024 and beyond, which it says will sharply limit its ability to fund existing obligations, let alone new programs. And
listen to this. Look at what it's saying. This is LA, okay? This is out there West Coast. Our locally generated revenues, which are mostly fueled by property taxes, are forecasted to grow at a much slower pace in 2024 and beyond. When y'all pay for y'all homes and you pay your property taxes, that's largely the way that they fund this government structure and whatever it is that they're going to be doing on a regular basis. Trash pickup, all of that stuff is all property taxes. Schools, property taxes. Everything is property taxes. This will sharply limit our ability to fund existing obligations along with any new programs over next budget years. You don't just get stuff that just show up out of the blue. It's got to come out of somebody's pockets, and usually it's yours.
In Portland, leaders see a fiscal cliff ahead as there are no funds left to address existing financial issues.
The demand for resources continues to surpass availability within the city.
Cities often use credit to raise money from investors in the bond market. Portland, for example, has a AAA credit rating, which could make it an enticing place to park cash.
Interest earned by owners of municipal bonds is exempt from federal taxation, which helps to lower the overall cost of borrowing for state and local government issuers.
3 major agencies grade cities on their ability to repay their debts.
So Fitch's credit rating scale,
we already know about the credit ratings and all of that stuff. We already know what that contributed to as far as the housing crisis and everything. But I just wanted to kind of give you a general idea of why you guys need to be concerned over what is happening with who is managing the finances of the cities and the governments and the states that y'all live in, all right? It's really, really a big deal. It really is a big deal in real life. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get to the last part of the show, which I think is the most entertaining. Bodega Chew says, what up, Anton? I just closed on a rental property and increased my net worth by $100,000. Keep cooking, and salute to the chasers. You know, I'm really disappointed in a lot of these people that have not made the decision to be a part of the chasers, to align themselves with a group of people that's really, really winning in real life. It's disheartening to see people suffer out here in these streets, knowing that they can do something different and then don't do anything different because they're just too ignorant or they're just too stubborn to do the thing that's in their best interest. It really is disheartening. I don't understand it. I can't figure it out. Whenever somebody gave me an opportunity, I jumped at it immediately. So, shout out to the chasers. We're going to keep winning. We over 6,000 strong. We running it up. We taking care of business, and we on top of things. Congratulations to my dog, Bodega Shoe. My dog, Classy Beat, says, 80, don't forget to repin the Patreon link. I dropped it in the chat if you just want to pin that. Bag Chasers is up. Shout out to y'all. No, they can get it it's in the description. That's at the top of the description. If they too lazy to go into the description of the video, then they don't need to be a part of the Bag Chasers anyway. Fun Your Mental HQ says, yo, AD, I'm a watchmaker for Tag Heuer, and I have some watch info for you. Oh, watch info you have for me, huh? Can you email me, Fun Your Mental HQ? I really, really need to talk to you. Fun Your Mental HQ. Email me at AntonDaniels413@gmail.com right now. I love Tag Heuer. I love them boys over there. Next Level MF says, yo, chat, let True live, stall them out, Debo style. Shout out to my dog, Next Level MF. I appreciate you, big dog. Jay Johnson says, whoa, wait, not the library. That's the real bank. No, ain't nobody going to no library. If you ever want to go and hide something from somebody, go and hide it inside of the library. If you ever want to go and hide something from somebody, put it inside of the library. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got here. Last but not least. Oh, y'all gonna like this one. So, hold on, let me get this set up for y'all. I got a new setup. So, should you repo your own car? Now, this was sent to me This was sent to me partially because people know that I had interviewed my girl and she was talking about, and if you guys are not familiar with it, then go back and look at some of the clips. And if you want to watch the full interview, it's on the Patreon exclusively. All right. But I had interviewed this young lady based off of the idea that she had a very, very, very compelling story. And I flew down to see her and we shot some great content. And she's absolutely awesome. So I have nothing to say bad about her. And I'm also going to link this back to her profile on Instagram and TikTok in order for you guys to be able to follow her and have this conversation. But somebody sent this to me this morning. So I pivoted from the last thing of the show. And somebody sent this to me and they said, Anton, you want to read this or you want to listen to this? This your girl. And she talking about her financial situation. And so the title of the video was, "Come with me to repo my own car." Come with me to repo my own car. And I said, okay. But I'm not going to watch it by myself. I want to watch it with the chasers. So you know I'm going to be objective. I have to tell the truth. And so we're going to have a conversation about what she's communicating about her own finances. I have not seen the video. I'm going to watch it for the first time with you guys. And I'm going to give you my honest to God thoughts. All right, because this comes back down to the money. Again, shout out to her. When I clip this up, I'm going to put it in the description of the video in order for y'all to link back to her and go and follow her and hold her down. Let's get to it. Now, let me preface this by saying also that she wind up doing some time in prison because she had got caught up with a guy that was running work across county lines or something like that. And you know what I'm saying? She wound up doing some time in prison, getting out and telling her story. And then she went viral as a result of it. And so I wanted to get the perspective. See, nobody talks about my conversation with her about her prison experience. Everybody only wants to talk about Fleece Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like, they only want to talk about Fleece Johnson. They don't want to talk about when I was with my girl, the ruler. But we gonna get there. We gonna get there. What up, Q? What up, Q? So, again, I have not seen this video. It was sent to me this morning. I decided to make it a part of the show. And she's basically talking about repoing her own car. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into the video.
Me to repo my car. So I am repoing my own car because I am now thinking of my exit strategy. The life that I'm living now, it just goes from like work, stress, not happy, not fulfillment, and just that shock with thinking that I violated my probation and I was going back to prison. It just gave me a new perspective on life. So I am thinking about my exit strategy from everything. Like the situation currently that I feel that I've put myself in since I've gotten out of prison, it's just time for a whole exit strategy, right? And I feel like the first step to an exit strategy is to downgrade my expenses. Can I afford my car? Yes and no. Yes, because I don't have to deprive myself to pay this car note. I don't have to move money around. I don't have to pick and choose so I can't get my nails done this week. I'm gonna go do this. I do not have to change or alter my life at all to make sure that I can pay my car note. I do not have to move my life around or change anything for my car note. And also, I got this car 2 years ago. May will be 2 years. I got this car 2 raises ago. And I'm not talking about like a 50-cent raise. I'm not talking about like, you know, $1 raise, $2 raise. I'm on salary. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars, right? Tens of thousands of dollars raised. So I got this car 2 raises ago, right? So I can afford it. The no part where I can't afford it is because why spend this much money when I don't have to?
Let me stop there and say that fiscal responsibility and minimizing the amount of money that you spend on things that don't matter is incredibly important. It is literally the difference between being incredibly successful and becoming a millionaire eventually and how you manage your budget, because now you got residual income and you have more to be able to do the things that's most meaningful to you. For some people, it's traveling. For some people, it's experiences. For some people, it's actually going out and you know, enjoying with friends and being able to spend freely without having to worry about, you know, I got to pay my car note and stuff like that. But for some of us, like the bag chasers over here, we like to invest because we know that over time and over a longer period of time that money is going to compound and it's going to translate into us being really, really rich and then being able to do what we want to do when we want to do it. And so I tell people to stay down for an extended period of time. Live with your parents. Stay home. Don't go out and buy stuff that don't mean anything. Even when you get rich, still stay down. Live for free. Don't be so quick to run outside and go get bust down and have a kid out of wedlock and then you really be under duress. Stay down so you can get to that bag. And one of the first things that I did when I started going down as a part of the 2007, 2006, 2008 housing crisis and everything started going bad, had to get them cars up. Now, I admire people that are willing to downgrade their lifestyle and give their car up or limit their expenses even if they're not forced to. What she's telling us is, listen, I got raises, I got promotions, I got this car. I'm not really sure what kind of purpose it's serving. So let this be a warning to other people that once that new car smell wear off and you got to pay that note every single month and you got to pay the insurance, you got to pay gas and you got to pay maintenance and all of that, it don't go away. It keep reoccurring every single month. Every single month. Every single month. It's going to be right there waiting for you. It don't care about your medical bills. It don't care about your boyfriend. It don't care about whether or not you wanted to go to Tulum that month. It don't care if whether you were sick and you didn't have no more PTO time. It's going to be sitting right there like, ha, what up though? You know it's the first of the month, right? That car note, that insurance, that gas payment, everything, it's going to be sitting right there every single month. It's going to be right there waiting for you. And when you get that statement and you realize and you look at it, a lot of people need to start reading their statements. We don't read our statements anymore in the same way that we don't really look at our check stub because it doesn't come in the mail as much anymore. Everything is electronic. So you just ignore it. You don't think about it. You don't go and do it. You just pay it blindly. Oh my God, I got 60 more months. I got 72 months of paying this car note. And you don't look at the statement because if you look at the statement, you'll realize that all of the money is going towards the interest, especially in the beginning. All of the money is going towards the interest. When you look at that statement and it say $60,000, $50,000, $70,000 finance, and you paying an $800,000, $900,000 car note, and $65 go to the principal, and $935 is going towards the interest, it's going to change your perspective. It's going to change your perspective. When $935 of the $1,000 is going towards the interest and $65 is going towards the principal, you're going to rethink that Charger Hellcat. You're going to rethink that Hyundai. You're going to rethink that Tesla. You're going to rethink that Mercedes. You're going to rethink that BMW. You're going to rethink that Range Rover because it ain't enough box. And it ain't enough people that's waiting outside the club like, oh man, I love your car, to be able to justify giving away $935 in interest. Not one person that's standing outside saying, oh, he's sweet, can justify the idea of spending $935 in interest. Not one person waiting outside can justify it. Not one.
I feel like I need to lower all of my expenses so that I can maximize on what I save. And then when I do decide to exit, then I could just go ahead and I could feel more comfortable. And I know there's people like, oh, just jump out on faith. But listen, let me tell y'all something about faith. Just because you made a decision to do something, that don't mean that God told you to do that, right? God ain't told me to just quit my job. Now, he did tell me that there is greater in me than what's in the world. He also told me that I have a purpose, and he did not tell me my purpose was working salary for my company. He did tell me that. But he ain't tell me I need you to quit, right? Okay, so I'm not going to quit and then expect for God to just move mountains, even though he can, and he always does. I'm not going to test him. And when I thought I violated my probation, not one time did I think about this car. And I do love my car. I love her so much. Like, look at the sunroof. Like, it go from here. Oh, come on now. Right? And I don't even care if they be like, oh, well, here go a 2000 Honda. Well, they ain't going to sell me a Honda, but a 2000 Kia Forte. Well, yeah, how much that cost? Yeah, let me get that. So, let's go to Kia. All right, so we are at the dealership. I had to put my hair up because I tried the heatless curls I seen on TikTok, and it was an epic fail. But I'm talking to them, and I was like, I want to see the cheapest car. They showed me the Kia Soul, but I feel like that is the ugliest car on the road, so I can't drive a Kia, so I'm sorry. And then they said the next best thing is a Kia Forte. So I seen a white one, and right now it's the gray one. I'm about to drive it. And he said that it's a 2024, and like I just told y'all, I don't care if it's a 2000, but this brand new Forte is $22,000. So we gonna check it out. We gonna drive it. I told him I don't have to drive it, but he was like, I still want you to drive it. So we're about to test.
Yeah, but what's the interest rate? That's what I want to know. I don't care about the car. I don't care about none of that. I don't care about the car payment. I want to know how fast you can pay it off so that you're not giving a whole bunch of money over into the bank. And I also want to know how much money you actually rolling over into that car, because if you upside down in your car payment, what will then happen is you got to roll the difference over into the next one. And so you're not really reducing it. You still financing the same amount of money. You just upside down in the car payment. But let me continue.
Let's drive the gray Kia Forte. So I know y'all thought I was playing. Not playing. My new car, I traded it in. So I traded in my 2023 Kia Sportage for a 2024 Kia Forte.
What is a Kia Sportage? What does that look like? Let me look at this. Kia Sportage. Give me a second. I got to look this up. I got to figure out what it looks like. Anton is out of the loop a little bit, but I'm going to figure it out. Kia Sportage. Is this what a Kia Sportage look like? What did she say? 2022 Kia Sportage? What did she say? A Forte? I mean, it's a car. I mean, it gets you to and from where you got to go. That's fine. Okay. All right. I mean, whatever the payment is, let's see what it is.
Yes, it is a 24. I did not care that it was a 24. It just so happens that that's the car I got. Like, it could have been a 1924 for all I care. But the car note is literally like almost $300 cheaper. Like, period. Right? It is very much very different. Very much different. But listen, do what you got to do to get where you need to get, honey. Don't give a damn about a car. This could have been, listen, it could have been a motorized scooter. If it was going to get me where I needed to go and it was cheaper than what I was paying, that's what I was going to have. So, baby, do what you got to do to get where you're trying to go. Like, stop making excuses and just do it. Because I am so humbled to be in this car. Like, it's still a blessing, and don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not saying I'm not blessed, because this car is still a blessing, right? It's a brand new car. It's just, it's not as nice as my old one, but
I think a lot of women need to have men guide their decisions. I don't know about all of her background, and I'm not speaking on all of that as far as who was in her life and stuff like that. But y'all really need some guys in y'all life. I think that women need men more than men need women. And it's funny because it's a video that I'm supposed to be reacting to as far as women on the street saying that they don't need men and men saying that they need women. Y'all need us more than ever. Women need us more than ever. 100%. I'm wondering how long is finance for? And shout out to her. I rock with her. She cool. That's the homie. We did a great interview together. I'm wondering, how much is it financed for? How long is it financed for? What's the interest rate? It's other factors that I'm curious about personally as a finance guy than I am about the car payment. The car payment isn't as important as how much you finance and how much you're giving over in interest to the finance companies. And I want to know if there was any that she had to roll over and how hard was it for her to be able to do that. So just curious, just some thoughts, but I figured y'all find that to be interesting. Shout out to her. And I hope that she's doing well in life. And I hope that she's making very, very smart decisions and that things are going to go awesome for her and that she be blessed because I want everybody in the world to win. All right? Let me read some of the super chats. Then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. Jawan Hart says, true to myself, my grandmama gave... Jesus Christ, y'all are so... Y'all are a mess. Sister, what up, sister? Says, and Mr. AD, remember Moses and a generation of Israelites that left Egypt did not get to the promised land except for Joshua and Caleb. Yes, because they was too disrespectful. And they kept worshiping other gods and not doing what God told them to do. And Moses and Aaron was like, man, what we going to do out here in these streets? And so all of the children of Israel kept on doubting God, and he had to do all of this. He had to do that. I remember, sister. Shout out to you. Fi Brown in the building. Shout out to my dog. Fi Brown says, was closing a deal on 4 more vending machine locations up to 16 now. Hashtag to the chasers. Sis says, Mr. AD, that interest hurts your feelings. Pay off your debts, people. Pay off your debts, people. Vanna Kai says, good morning, AD, all the way from San Diego. What up to my San Diego brethren? Says, do you think that San Diego is worth investing in? I don't think that anywhere in California is worth investing in. I'm going to be honest with you. The local businesses have too many messy crosses in between political and business. Patreon bag chaser content is no joke. Get out of California if you are an investor. If you are not a seasoned investor that know what you're doing, like Jay Woodfin. Otherwise, get out of California. It is not conducive for businesses, and it is not a friendly environment for you. Jay Johnson says, AD, wouldn't it be better to buy vehicles in smaller towns or a different state? There has to be benefits to that. Could it be cheaper? Buying vehicles in a smaller town or a different state? Not necessarily. No. Especially if you're buying a new vehicle. New vehicles dealerships are the ones that's determining the markups on the vehicles. So not necessarily. It really matters about the interest rate and all of that other stuff. So I will be more concerned about my financing and my interest rate and whether or not I can pay it off faster rather than where I'm buying it at. All right. So listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It was an interesting week. I have to do some work and then I'm going to head out to the festivities out here for the NFL draft, for draft weekend. And hopefully we have a great time. What's up, Q? Hold on. My DoorDash guy is here, I think. Hello.
Hi, I'm outside with the order.
Okay, are you bringing it up or you want me to come down?
It don't matter.
Yeah, can you bring it up, please?
Sure.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So am I going to come in the door that's right next to the McDonald's parking lot?
No, come in the back. It's a door in the back of the building.
How do I get to the back?
You just walk around the building or you drive around the building and drive into the back parking lot.
Is it DoorDash or 306?
Don't worry about it. I'll come down and get it. I got you.
Okay.
All right, bye. Man, some lazy mother effers, bro. Is it the door that's right next to the McDonald's? No, come back in the back. Well, just like the instructions say. And let me tell y'all something. Let me say this. This is the difference between a $40 tip and a $5 tip. Now, I already tipped inside of the app $15 in order for you to bring me my DoorDash. Now, I got an additional. I always give people a choice. I tell the guy, the security guard at the bottom of the thing, I say, listen, the difference between whether or not these people is going to get another $40 in tips or if they're going to get another $5 is if they too lazy to bring me my stuff up. And this is the difference. This is why a lot of people are poor, because they don't have the mindset of what it takes in order to be successful. And they too lazy. Too lazy. Absolutely lazy. Oh my God, do you want me to bring it up? And I don't tell them. I don't tell them how much I got because I don't want you to do it for the wrong reasons. I want you to have the right attitude when you do it. People are so lazy. So lazy. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got some work to do and I'm about to get my acai bowl and I'm about to get in it. I'm paying for an acai bowl. Real talk. That's where I order my junk from Beyond Juice. And I got an acai bowl, and I'm paying damn near $50 just because I like to take care of the people and I like to look out for them. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. I don't know if I'm a live stream tonight, but we'll see. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I got to go get my food. I love y'all. Till next time. Peace.